Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Ravi in the air, left field side. Did he? Yes, he did. The year of hobby continues.
2-1. Right field. And we are tied. PCA get a hold of one.
I mean, come up with something effective.
And Aranda just launched one halfway back to the States. A 2-run homer for Jonathan Aranda. It is 4-0 Rays.
Across the line, a wide-out shot scores! Michael Bradley, power play goal! 1-0 Stars! Halliburton with a deep shot. And here come the Pacers within 7. He's going to pull again. And Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton on a skip. And there's the heat check.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
Hey, is this right? Like, what are we doing with the auto manual thing?
I
like the view though.
It's supposed to go away after I hit it.
Well, hit it.
Give me just a minute here. We'll fix that.
Huh?
DB, why don't we tell people how your day was yesterday?
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything good. What did I do? I'm okay. I went out to eat with my nephew and my mother and my family, and it was my second substandard meal in a row.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I left very hungry.
A little bit of that W sauce.
Wait, so what did you – now you don't have to give the name of the place, but what did you have? What did you
said
eat
a little
that
bit
was
of that W sauce?
substandard? Like, what was the meal itself?
Coincidentally,
Yeah.
or ironically, I'm sure there's a difference. It was the same back-to-back suspect meals. Both were very similar. One was a protein and egg soft tacos ensemble. This one was also at a Mexican restaurant.
So we're over 2 on Mexican recently?
Yep. And I could have sworn I said, I'm not going to eat them anyway, but I will tell you, it has a particular smell. Not a big corn tortilla guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's certainly a different texture.
And it stinks. So I left all my tortillas, and my man, I will not say his name, who was very good at his job. He was one of one, though, which gave me
like the only waiter in there?
No, but just one of one.
It's unique?
Sure.
Okay.
And you always tell me to like look and see how many of those
okay.
things
Gotcha.
are around. And so I was very skeptical right away.
Yeah, if you don't have a lot of people
we don't need to.
No, I can say it. It's fine. If you don't have a lot of people from a certain area in a restaurant that claims to be from that area, sometimes it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Like if I roll into an Indian restaurant and it's all white people, I have questions.
Right.
White people?
Right.
Like I'm just like, this could go either way.
So that was fine. I don't know. Outside of that, it's fine. I mean,
yeah. Was it like a special occasion with the nephew and mom, or just?
Well, it's his birthday.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Brandon.
Yep, it's his birthday. And
wait, so him and Micah have the same birthday?
So Brandon is the 10th. Micah is the 13th.
Okay. So happy birthday, Micah.
Yeah.
Sweet 16?
Correct.
Yeah.
Ryan goes, did you get him a car? I'm like, are you nuts? Like,
Well,
I mean, I'm still trying to afford how to pay attention.
So you got to figure your car out first.
What? Right? No, but it's cool, man. I'm trying to graduate from having a roommate. That's always fun. Wonder what the next process of that's going to be. Television was very sketch.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do was to go watch Creighton in Omaha.
Oh, yeah. At Service's last game?
Yeah. Not so much that.
Last regular season game.
Yeah, because I had just seen Coach Service.
Okay.
And I saw a lot of the people that I knew were going to the game last night.
At Bill's deal?
At the funeral.
Yeah.
was very baseball heavy, which I thought was cool. Because on the announcement for Coach Olson was for everybody to wear their favorite jersey.
Mm.
And it's the one time that I ever thought to myself, man, I wish I had a jersey.
I was like, 'cause you're not a jersey wearer.
At all.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you didn't bring one today. They were starting to weird me out. It's like, who are we going to see today? No, so it was cool. Slept a little bit. Watched some Super Friends again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to mow through all those. So there was a bad stretch of Super Friends, and it was the one with
There's like 7 seasons.
yeah, it was the one with the little ding-dong redhead and his sister.
Oh,
Marvin.
yeah, the earlier ones.
Yeah, we fast forward through those. Lot of
With the dog.
yeah, a lot of bad animation.
Can I pet that dog?
A lot of bad animation going on in that one.
Hmm.
And then
I don't
Well, it was like 75, so.
yeah.
Here's my question, though. Okay, so we talk about bad animation sometimes. Should time frame matter as much on like hand drawings?
Okay, sure.
Is that? I mean,
That's fair.
does that make sense?
But I'm just telling you, like there's some good stretches of the Super Friends during that had pretty good like animation that fit my eye.
Okay. So
Like-
we're not talking about necessarily quality as so much preference.
Probably.
Okay.
Like I watch, Thundar. I love the animation.
Okay.
It's old.
It's a stylistic issue.
Yeah. Even though I look at some of the stuff like the Herculoids.
Mm-hmm.
This is really bad animation, but I watched that show.
Yeah.
Shane, do you remember the Herculoids?
Oh, yeah. With the.
I mean, it wasn't like stellar. I looked at Ukla the Mock on Thundar. He he could have been a little more. Is it cooler? He could have been cooler.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some of the
With
stuff
the-
with the Super Friends is fantastic.
I was going to say with the Triceratops that shoots the rocks.
Yeah. I mean, I watch it now and I'm like, God, I was into that. But I mean,
you're a kid.
yeah.
That's all, so.
I've got old school. What's the one show, Shane? Do you remember Godzilla with Godzuki?
Yeah.
It was really good.
Mhm.
Godzilla with Godzuki. I mean, you missed the window of all the good cartoons.
I did.
The
I missed-
laundry list you went through yesterday was LT at South Beach.
I feel like it was.
Total trash.
I feel like it was a very different type of cartoon that was being made when I was a kid versus when you were a kid.
Yeah, you guys, that's what's wrong with your generation. You did not have cool cartoons.
So what's wrong with your generation?
Well, that's why we're super staunchy and because that's how we were raised. I got into
By
this.
the Herculoids?
Yeah. the family nucleus.
Okay.
Doing things correctly. Very traditional. Very traditional roles.
Big traditional family guy.
Let me tell you how that's going for me. No, so we got into this thing last night because we have a family friend that is always with us,
Mhm.
and so she's my oldest sister's age. So I was gonna say significantly, but not to offend anybody. She's double-digit years older than me.
Sure.
But she always checks on my mom, and so we like to kind of take care of her. We were talking about like old school versus new school, and somehow we got on this laundry thing.
Mhm.
And I don't know how you do laundry.
Okay.
Do you do your own laundry? I
Yeah.
should start with that.
Yeah, I do my laundry.
Okay, so from the time you put it in the washer,
Okay.
to the time do you put your clothes away?
I'm not great
See,
at
that's
putting
the
my
thing.
clothes-
That-
I'm
no,
not great at
I
putting my
wrestle
clothes
it.
away.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. It's just generationally how things have changed so much.
So it depends on what it is. If it's a dress shirt or anything like
That's
that
funny.
that needs hung up, then I'll hang it up.
It only took 14 seconds of the conversation to arrive at the exact point we arrived at last night. Shane, you clearly do your own laundry?
Yeah, that is correct.
Do you use a laundry basket?
Yes, I have 2 of them.
Very nice. I like where this is headed.
Yes.
Do you put your clothes away when you wash them?
As soon as they get out of the dryer, yes.
Okay. They have a place to go?
They have an exact place to go.
Okay.
That's not surprising. He seems like you'd be very particular about it.
I think it's a generational thing.
It could be. Yeah.
I almost made it a gender thing, but it's not.
No,
I think it's a
an age.
generational thing.
Yeah.
So you're taught to clothes. It shouldn't take you 3 days to do laundry. It should just take you the amount of time it takes
To be in the washer dryer.
Yeah, unless you leave.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you only have a very small window until you put it in. You need to put it in the dryer.
Yeah.
Although it's longer than you think, you just
It can smell a little if you
let's
leave
not
it
get
sit.
Yeah, let's not get crazy.
No, you want to get that thing moved over pretty quick.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised that you did not immediately put your clothes away.
Yeah, no. So I'll put away socks and underwear so I know where they are.
Mhm.
So you got to grab those and stuff.
Big matching sock guy.
Yeah, for the
we used to
most
play
part.
a game in my house between the boys of who was going to be the one that had all the socks match come through the laundry. Right? And 3 odd socks, they don't match anything. You're a loser.
So part of it is now though, because you get a lot of the athletic socks have a specific left and right pair, so you almost have to match them up now.
Yeah, don't tell that to Micah.
He's not having that.
Much better though, especially now that their laundry's separate because Caleb's never home.
Yeah.
Never home. But my second oldest sister moved her son back because he's going to school. And she washed all his clothes and the sheets because she did not want to pack dirty clothes.
Sure.
That is the most Tracy thing. I mean, I would be the same way. So
I'll say I think a lot of people don't like packing dirty clothes. That makes
she's
sense.
very upset with Jordan. So
Yeah.
I just was like, huh. And then that triggered a whole nother
conversation about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very spread out. So I don't know what everybody was talking about on that end, but on this end, we were talking about laundry. It's very riveting.
Yeah, I don't
recommended some very bad tequila.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's not good.
It's fine. I mean, with my family, I'm out there to get lit.
Yeah, we still want it to not taste bad.
It's pretty bad.
Like
you couldn't even I don't think chilled versus room temp is that hard to figure out. Like chilled means chilled.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to be that guy because it was myself, Kim, St. Louis Kim, and Brandon, all 3 like tequila.
Yeah.
So we let our friend do the recommendations because there's a very extensive list. And I did a very non-traditional DB thing.
What's that?
I conceded.
Oh no. Much like Mayor Stothert last night.
Yeah, wow. I was shocked.
I was a little surprised. Yeah, I really was.
So that was the initial conversation at dinner. When I left, sometimes I'll watch the 4 o'clock and the 5 o'clock start to Channel 7. So they're just random on the streets, right? And I can't remember the little dude's name that was out at the polling places.
Oh, yeah. Like the field reporter.
Yeah, but he had asked, it was 13 people. 13 people, not a huge sample size.
Yeah.
13-0 had voted for Ewing.
Really?
Yeah. And the people were very cavalier and open about, because asking somebody who they voted for is it used to be like asking a woman her age.
Yeah. Or be like, how much money you make?
Or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But now, I mean, people wear it with a badge, right?
Yeah.
Dirty Dims or, you right ring.
Made a little
pre-pubes or whatever people say, right? It's wow, it didn't used to be like this.
Made
but
a
anyway.
little bit too much of our identity, I think. But
yeah, so one of the guys, this little old man, he had this little cool Dolphins hat on. I was like, another Dolphins fan in Omaha that's not Mike Boker or Kevin Kugler.
Oh, I know. I've got
or
a
Randy
Dolphins.
Push.
I've got a Dolphins fan in Omaha.
Maybe there's more than we think.
My old boss, love the dude.
I'm glad you didn't say my buddy or my friend, my best friend.
I would consider him a friend, but
just A or best or buddy or
no, he's a
Evan
good guy.
range?
I like him.
Is he North Carolina?
Actually, I think he went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And he's your buddy?
Yeah, he was my boss for a while. Good dude.
Okay, he shall remain nameless. That's fine.
I mean, we got Dennis Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Redhead Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dennis was extremely smart.
Yeah, he's a smart dude.
Yeah, Dennis was bright. He was low key funny too.
Yeah, he's very funny. I like Dennis a lot.
Yeah,
he's one of the I love people I work here for.
Dennis was in my wheelhouse.
Dennis is one of my favorite.
Dennis
bosses.
would not be a guy in high school that you would think I would fraternize with.
I tend to give you more credit than that. I think I would imagine you had a pretty wide variety of people you liked.
I did.
Because that's how you are now. And I know that you've changed a lot, but it seems like a core part of your
I
personality.
know Dennis real well.
Him and I worked with him, and I briefly worked with, I think he played baseball with Dave Wakowitz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, his brother was a scary dude. Ron?
I don't know, Ron. I just know Dave and DT.
Ron was built like King Kong.
Yeah.
He's left-handed, and he never talked. And I was like, he probably killed someone. Yeah, but Little Walk was way cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave was cool, dude.
Third baseman.
Yeah, DT's a big Dolphins fan.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I going with that?
Dolphins fans.
The conceding?
family. Conceding, yeah.
Yeah, like that's in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know
you tend to have a pretty good pulse on like what's going on in the city.
And he said, it was the streets. And he was a longtime Republican, and he goes, I just this last 2-3 years I haven't seen. Like he was distraught. It was kind of cute.
Yeah,
because he'd given it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just haven't seen much progress. I want to give. He said, I want to give old John a chance. I was like, oh.
I don't think he's that old.
So when we sat down, I was like, there's no way. I said, but 13-0, that's not a big sample size.
No, but to be 13-0 is kind of wild.
I was floored.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I wasn't paying. I knew obviously who the candidates were and stuff like that. It's not like I'd been looking at polling or anything, so I didn't have a.
Can I ask you something? If you're gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
Did you know that yesterday was like the final thing? I feel like I had a little voter fatigue. I lost track of what was what.
I did too.
I'm not very good with civics, I guess.
Yeah. So I had voted early by mail because they like sent me the thing, and I was like,
and you had to be on time too.
Yeah, they like kept sending me updates, and I was like, well, I'll just do this because then I don't have to worry about what day it was. I forgot until later in the day that it was actually election day.
Yeah,
because I had already done it. But no, I'm
like, is this for real or is this to narrow it down?
Yeah, I was like, is this a primary?
Yeah, man, I was.
Thing?
Yeah, your boy was a little screwed up.
No, I forgot it. Until probably mid-afternoon, I forgot that it was a voting day at all, just because it had been done already. But I didn't have a really good sense of. I just sort of assumed she was going to win again.
God, kombucha sucks.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Kombucha's terrible. I'm not a fan. I do think there's.
Gonna need some more ice.
I see. You need a minute to recover.
That thing wet.
I do think there's. Like I was reading these articles about voter fatigue, basically, and just being like, after you see somebody for so long, you're kind of like, kind of want something.
I'm telling you, I was floored.
Kind of want something new. I was like, I'm a weirdo, so this is the first thing I thought of. I was like, maybe Buzz Williams is onto something.
After his philosophy. I think Buzz is super smart.
Or he's like, time to move on, time to go.
Either the barometer changes and you don't get credit, or you get people don't. There's just fatigue.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, they don't remember. They no longer measure you about what you inherited. They measure you about what you've done.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain point where you really can't win because you can't win exponentially, right? Like even if you're Dan Hurley or Nick Saban or whoever, and you win the national championships, at a certain point, like that becomes the floor, not the ceiling.
Right.
2 rings.
And he didn't say anything about Hoyley.
I mean, I think the press has been an asshole to me the whole.
Baldy.
That's how I feel. That's Mike Sauter Jr.
And so, wait, which one's older?
Hurley's got Sauter.
Okay, I thought he had a couple years on him, but
more than a couple.
Does he? He can't be that far into his 50s, is he?
He's older than me, I think.
Is he?
I think so.
Okay.
We should dominate their ass on the glass.
It's hard to tell because he's an evil little man and he's aged horribly.
I don't know why you keep saying that about that little guy. I'm sure he's a very nice man.
I'm not sure.
I'm sure he's a very nice man.
To who?
To like friends of ours.
To friends of ours?
Shane, if I'm sending you something, how do you want it?
Text is fine.
Okay. I don't believe you, but I'm gonna roll with it. I want to use
half drunk on.
I want to use a clip that Matthew Gerard Rhule said to Stephen M. Sipple.
Good old Sip.
Because old Coach Rhule is kind of doing the tour.
He is. He was on our friends over at Husker Online.
Yep, and the network.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sports Nightly, and we'll grab him in July.
There you go.
It's like, you want me to be on camera? All right, do it from the.
You can do whatever you want, Coach.
Do whatever you want, man. Just be prepared. We're going to ask you some things that nobody else does.
Uh-oh.
That's what he said.
I mean, he's familiar with your work. He should anticipate that, I think.
1,000%.
This is the kind of
I told him, I said, we've had talks about dudes that just read press clippings and try to have radio shows. It doesn't work for those guys. We're certainly not going to ask you low-hanging fruit. I didn't really say it like that. I said it a little more.
When do you just let me know when you want the clip here?
Oh, you already have it?
I think so.
Yeah, not for a while.
Okay.
Not for a while.
We'll hold on to it.
Yeah. I had one question. I forgot.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Tatum had surgery so soon?
No. With the Achilles, they try and go fast.
The night of?
I thought it was yesterday. I thought it was
when they
day
gave
after.
the report. Okay.
Yeah.
It was within 16 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick. It must have.
It was within 16 hours.
It must have been pretty bad.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's okay. If we're talking 16, I was expecting it to be, if it was that, I was expecting it to be under 36.
Okay, so
I guess it's a little quick in that sense. But they don't usually wait like a week for that.
They were in New York.
Yeah.
And not that New York to Boston is like.
Yeah, it's not an arduous trip.
It's pretty quick.
No, it's a quick turnaround. I was assuming they went and got it looked at like while the game was still going
what's
on.
cool, and you think I would know, but thank the Lord it's never happened to me. Like if your team doc is somewhere and you have to get somebody immediately, does your doc just get used to your facilities?
Usually
your hospital, you just like, hey,
yeah,
Timmy Jackson's coming in, clear the OR room or whatever.
Typically there's usually the teams will have a relationship.
Are you making this up or do you have some?
No, I actually know how some of this works.
Okay. Well, don't be offended that I asked for your qualifications.
I know.
You pulling this out of your bunda?
No, I just read things that don't really matter sometimes and find things out.
Don't we all?
So a lot of times,
Shane, put the magazine back under the bed.
That's totally on me.
Oh, I know.
A lot of times the professional teams in the city have a relationship with a specific hospital, and that transcends to whoever the visiting team is as well. Like, so it transfers. It's kind of a reciprocal. So they have
Nick's hospital, Nick's doctors. Got Boston coming in town. Do you know Dr. Jackson? Yeah, Dr. Jackson's my boy. Hey, hospital, I want Dr. Jackson to have all use of facilities if anything goes wrong with any of his thoroughbreds, okay? Hey, you can't refer to athletes as horses. Don't worry about that. Disregard the thoroughbreds. Give them access to the hospital. We clear? All clear. Is that how it goes?
I don't know if that's like specifically how the communication chain goes, but something like that. Yeah.
Is that
that's the general gist of it? Yeah.
Wow, this like that.
They may have it in writing. May not be like a verbal contract.
You have contracts with like all 31 teams in the league or 29?
I would guess. I mean, that's not an overly difficult number to
I'm
make
not,
sure you
I'm
got
not I'm not trying
on.
to like make it seem like it's solving pie. I'm just saying like that's very nice.
I mean, I think they think these things ahead. There was certainly a time where that was not the case, but
Man, that's funny because
you have enough of these injuries and stuff where a lot of times it's more serious.
You'd have a hard if I fell down and scraped my. I'm a terrible example because I did just fall down. If Shane fell down and scraped his knee in your driveway, you wouldn't even let him use your sink. You'd probably ask him if he could make it home.
I'd probably offer to take him home.
See what I mean, though?
I don't like people.
You just give me my hospital?
I don't like people in my house, though. It's a different thing.
Well, hence the analogy I was trying to make.
Well, yeah, like the hospital.
Pretty cool.
The hospitals aren't like. I mean, I'm sure some people get territorial over it, but I'm also sure there's like an exchange of funds to be that particular hospital.
Ken, this is my operating room, and you will follow my procedures.
Listen, surgeons famously have no ego whatsoever.
Yeah, haven't you? Yeah, I hear some horror stories. I have a lot of people that do devices.
Yeah.
That have to like be very particular with the way that their doc wants to be.
Oh yeah. Everybody's kind of got their own
facilitated to or with or whatever.
How they communicate with them.
I'm shocked at Tatum because I did not think it was in Achilles right away.
I didn't either, but mostly so. I don't know. I was looking at it two ways. Number one, either his reaction to it was way different than basically every other Achilles I've seen.
The crying in the wheelchair.
Well, it's like the instant grabbing of it, because a lot of times people don't even really know they tore it. They kind of like reach back like they stepped on something.
They pull a Kobe.
Yeah, there's like, they think like somebody stepped on the back of their foot is how a lot of people.
No jokes about Kobe shooting free throws, and everybody should be able to handle injuries like Kobe did. I just happen to use Kobe because he did his Achilles.
Yeah, and he reacted the way most people react. I've had a buddy do his as well. Actually, he's done it twice, which sucks. That one each leg actually, but he was just like, yeah, it just feels like somebody stepped on the back of your shoe and your shoe broke.
Yeah, that's what happened. I watched Veland do his From Me to You.
Yeah, so like I had either
in street clothes.
Oh, so it was either his reaction was way different than most Achilles tears we see, or it was a different because it was also kind of this weird non-contact injury, right? So it was either an ankle injury that I don't see happen that way very often, or is a reaction to an Achilles that I don't see happen very often. And I honestly had no idea which was which.
Yeah, the first person that I knew do their Achilles, which is when I knew it was going to be kind of a horrible thing. There's a guy he used to run AOI, and his name is Mick Jensen. We worked out at the same gym, and we kind of bonded over food. Shocker. He liked good steaks, and this is like early 2000s.
Yeah.
My man Mick did his Achilles, and he was miserable. And so the guy that helped put my groin back together, who has now since been incarcerated, still really good at his job, though. Just that.
Had some vices.
Yeah. Clearly. Like he was like Oscar Goldman, right? He put us like back together, and he rehabbed with Meg, and he made reattaching my groin seem like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want that. And then ever since then, everybody that's done an Achilles, like my heart is just like,
oh yeah, it seems like a terrible injury.
I'll pick almost any other injury.
It's probably, I mean, knock on wood, hope it doesn't happen to either of us for any reason, but it seems like about the worst.
What was the only thing I was worried about catching punts? Even
Achilles.
with a bum knee. Please sleep, baby Jesus. Don't let anything happen to my Achilles.
I do also feel like a lot of times.
And that's him and Dame. Both those guys will be out for 2026.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. It's not good.
No. I'm sure the Knicks aren't going to apologize.
No. I mean, you go, you get your win, you go.
You feel like they have more pressure now?
The Knicks?
Under pressure.
They definitely need to close it out.
Yeah, if Tibbs don't get this done.
Then that's 3-1 and without Tatum, like you got to get that done.
Yeah.
But it should also be easier because you don't have Tatum.
Do you know that at one point during game 3, the Knicks had only led for 11 minutes in the whole series?
Yeah, that makes sense considering how the first two games went.
Yeah, I don't really need you to quantify it in your head and dumb down the stat. I want you to be like, yeah, it's kind of weird for a team that was up 2-0.
It is kind of weird.
But of course, I mean, we're gonna look at it.
I mean, if you look at both the 20-point deficits, it's like, yeah, they're
that kind of makes sense. Yeah. All right. Wet blanket. Old baby's black balloon over here. Well, it's
where do we go goo dolls on babies? Like,
because unless it's Halloween, why would you want black balloons?
A lot of people do it for like 40th or 50th or 60th birthday parties. They kind of like make the joke about it, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're old now." And
oh, the whole black is bad thing.
No, it's like old. Haven't you ever seen that where they're doing
No.
It might be a white people thing.
It's certainly not a black people thing. At least the ones that I know. And how would you know? I guess half the time you'd see it.
Yeah. Well, not really. I don't spend a lot of time with that side of the family. Although, I did grow up in.
You talking to a ghost?
An area that
apparently.
I did grow up in an area that had certain demographics, so saw probably more than half the time.
Yeah. You watch a lot of birthday parties.
Well, you never know. You've never been to like a, maybe you haven't, maybe like a party or balloon store that you go and they've got like the black 40th or over the hill or whatever. Really?
Whatever the hell it is.
Did I strike you as an avid balloon shopper?
Yeah, you seem like you do a lot of party planning.
Yep.
Right. Just going out and buying balloons and streamers.
I don't even know the first place. You know where I would go to get balloons?
Cakes.
Hy-Vee.
Do they have balloons at Hy-Vee?
I mean, are there balloon stores?
There were. I don't know if there still are. When I was a kid, I don't know for what reason, we bought a lot of those. Like,
oh, there was one on the corner of 90th by the old bakers. Was it a?
So So we used to go to like a Party City, I think is what it was
That's
called.
what it was.
Yeah.
It was tucked in the corner of that little strip mall.
Yeah. So those are the kind of, for whatever reason, I don't know why. I felt like I was in.
I don't know if it was a Party City. It was a place where you could buy fabric and yarn.
Mangelson's?
Nope. Too popular.
Hobby Lobby?
Nope. Too popular.
Because you used to be able to get the balloons at Mangelson's too. The one on 120th and Center. They had that kind of stuff too.
Which doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Now they just have the one on 84th.
Yeah. They used to have that kind of stuff there too.
Yeah, I don't know where one would go to buy balloons. Just go to the grocery store. That's where I see people with the balloons.
I don't know now, but back in the day they had like
Shane, you're a big Michaels guy. Can you buy inflated balloons? Balloons that they'll
Isn't
blow
Michaels going out of business too?
I don't know. That's a Shane thing. Shane, is Michaels
I
going
don't
out of
even
business?
recognize what we're doing.
Is Michaels going out of business?
I hope not.
I think they are. I think they got private equity.
Shane's a big, nice little Saturday going to Michelson's guy.
Really?
Oh.
Michaels or Mangelson's?
I mean, not to put you out there.
Michaels. It's a good date place.
Don't ask.
Oh, it really is.
Shane's a big crafter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Shane.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Would you like clarity?
Yeah, I would like some follow-ups here. By a good date place, is it just like a place to walk around? Like, what do you?
Well, she's crafty.
So you just
she's just my type.
So you just run errands with her.
What else do you do on a Saturday?
That's not like a date place. Like you're just doing errands.
It's kind of a date, isn't
like
it?
I don't like go to the grocery store and I'm like, oh, great date spot.
Depends how much do you enjoy walking the aisles.
Yeah,
not a lot.
I mean, Damon loves walking the aisles at the grocery store, so
it's the only piece I ever get, Shane.
I'll say I think DB likes it because it's solo. Like Han. I don't think he goes grocery shop. Oh, great date place.
Are you really confused?
No, I don't.
It's a very big store. There's lots of things in there.
There's lots of things to do.
You go to the stickers section. They got some pretty cool stickers.
There's a lot of stuff in like Costco too. I'm not taking dates there.
Hey, that's a little. What's the word for it? Bougie, because that costs to get into Costco. So
yeah, I mean,
it's a little bougie.
Once you get the old card.
I'll say you just get.
Are you a big fan of the scanner? It's quicker.
It is kind of. Because sometimes it doesn't work right, and you gotta like do the thing, and
it doesn't really do facial recognition either. But
yeah, I mean, you can get any card and go in there pretty much.
Oh, there's one by my house. Ken said you can go to Dollar General for balloons.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to a Dollar General since
There's a Dollar General like 60 seconds from me.
Since I moved away from Ashland because they put one in while I was living there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I've been to like dollar stores.
I was
like
shamed to go to Dollar General. I don't think I've been in since he killed me on air for that. I had to make a pit stop going to my buddies in Platteview, and I stopped at a Dollar General, and you'd have thought I called Severe a dirty whore. This dude was so mad. Remember that?
Oh, I remember.
He's like, what? I was like, well, I don't get it. What? And he went through this whole soliloquy. So I think he shamed me.
Dollar Tree has cheap balloons, according to Husker Dominator.
Yeah.
They would actually be $1.25 each.
Well.
Oh, that's right. Big Dollar General guy over here.
Is Dollar General a good
Dollar Tree?
Sorry. What's the difference between trees and generals?
Dollar General isn't as good as Dollar Tree.
Are we sure?
Yes.
I think.
Are we going to take his word for it?
Dollar General, in my experience, Dollar General is more of like a grocery store. And Dollar Tree is more of kind of your random dollar store where you got all sorts of stuff.
I did go to the one on my way to Milliken's for cheese.
Yeah.
So I think it was
I think it's more grocery oriented, the Dollar General.
General. Yeah, it was a General. It's right on the corner right there by the Runza.
Question, Shane.
Yeah.
Is Dollar Tree a good date spot?
I mean, you can go there afterwards.
Oh,
did she shop with you when you hoarded all the energy drinks? Was she with you?
Yeah.
There you go, Ravi.
Nobby's. That was the store I was thinking of. Nobby's, not Mangelson's. That was the one on 120th and Center that had all the balloons and all the party supplies. And
I don't know if I'd ever been there.
So I'd been there because they had stuff you'd get for like if you're throwing grad parties and stuff, or been there for a couple weddings, those types of things. But yeah, balloons. They do like the monogram napkins and stuff, which I don't know why you need.
Yeah, not doing that either.
I mean, if you're just like wiping off, like why you got to monogram that thing?
Similar to your cufflinks.
Doesn't make a well. Cufflinks are different. do like a good pair of cufflinks.
Oh man,
I'm just having a real hard time with the Michaels thing. If I'm being
I
honest
know
with
you're
you.
shook.
I am a little.
Shane, I wasn't meaning to have you have to go through the explanation. I just know you guys like to spend some time there together, and
it's easy.
And I know
it's cheap.
You know that makes
sense. Michaels is not cheap. I know that for a fact because my mom sews. I know Michaels is not cheap. I guess it's probably depends on what you're getting there, but fabric is not cheap. I know that for sure.
But yarn is cheap there.
Yarn?
Yeah.
What do you do with yarn?
I don't. She crochets.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you get her like a big needle for her birthday or Christmas or something? It's not a needle. What's the thing that you?
It was like
a crochet needle. That's what they're called.
It was a kit of some sort. Yeah.
You got one of those, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's very thoughtful.
Oh yeah, that was great.
He cares about her interests. That's so nice.
I think Shane is the goat.
I mean, listen.
Don't put that crap.
I see a lot of people now, Shane, out in public, unfortunately, that really like you. I think it's kind of interesting because
how in that
I said you're gonna need 27 hours in the day to be around him. You need 3 extra for him to get back to you about anything. Why is that funny?
No, I was laughing about something else. Rico texted me.
Oh, please say he said something mean so I can be mad at him for once.
He did actually.
Did he?
Well, not mean, but critical, I would say.
Of
you,
really,
and your word choices. I mean, so I have this thing about.
Oh, let's go, Rico.
So how I have this thing about I don't totally understand which words you consider bad and not and okay to say.
Yep.
And so he goes, so we can say whore? Make it make sense.
Whore is not a bad word.
I think depends on who you ask.
I'm not. Now, if I said, I'm not even going to get into it. Is whore a bad word?
I think some people consider it a little, not great.
If I'm talking about, how did I use it? I forgot.
You said I could call Michael Severe a whore and he would take it less.
Oh, a dirty whore.
Then
yeah, so I was using it as a derogatory term in that sense.
Right.
But that was his subtle
kind of the point.
Yeah, but okay.
If you're not using words in a derogatory term, I think everybody's cool.
I'm darn near impossible to walk into a corner. My point in using that as the analogy was as I would have to say something offensive.
Sure.
You would have thought I would have said something offensive, but all I said was I went to a Dollar General.
Trevor says, I mean, it's not a good word.
You'd been better off.
I hate our group.
You'd been better off going to Dollar Tree.
See.
Austin says, I don't think I would use the word whore around my mom. That makes it a bad word. That's actually kind of the test I use. If I wouldn't say it in front of Rose, is it a bad word? That's generally
Would that word pass my mom test? I could say, she would say, oh, I thought they were going to stay together. And I was like, oh, she was kind of a whore.
And
I don't think she would be mad because sometimes it's a dude too.
She'd make a face. She wouldn't be mad at you.
Kidding me?
But she'd make a face.
You think?
I think so.
I don't know. I kind of want to call her.
Let's get D on the phone.
I'm kind of serious. I don't know if she would. But I do get the mom test thing.
The mom test is good. Lee brings up another good one. Can a kid call another kid that word in school? If a kid called a kid a whore at school, they'd get in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, so you got to know Lee, though. Lee is about as pragmatic.
I think that's a good test.
He would drive you up the wall.
Probably. A lot of people do.
But again, you know what I'm going to say about him?
He's a good guy.
Yeah, we get along.
Good dude, though.
And he's tough on me. He's super tough on me. Kind of a contrarian. I don't know, but I'm going to read this text from my mom. Let's see if we can get an idea.
See if we can get an answer.
No, because I think I read this to you out loud.
Okay.
She goes, she goes, good morning. I'd be so unhappy with you if you said the F word.
Oh, yeah, you read this to me.
I'd be so unhappy with you if you said the F word. That's just not you. And then she asked me about Micah's bed. What's wrong with Micah's bed? You fixed it before. Maybe it's time we get him a new one. Maybe from his grandma for his birthday. Emoji, 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 emoji. That's my mom in a nutshell.
Who uses more emojis, your mom or Coach Rhule?
Apparently, though, I learned last night at dinner that my nephew taught my mom how to
use the emojis.
Yeah, and he gets away. He can say anything. He's like, "Oh man, I'm telling you, I should do Facebook for old people." I was like, "Are you gonna just let him say that?" But he gets he
gets the pass.
Straight bloody murder, that dude.
David says, when I started in radio, I had a picture of my mom on the board to keep me from saying something I shouldn't say.
Yeah, but that's her delivery, though.
Yeah,
that's not you.
I feel like she wouldn't like it if you said whore in front. Like she wouldn't. She may not clock it. Like she may not be like, now Damon. We don't.
Can I make this as a reason to be mad at Rico?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm mad at him now.
He's gonna do one nice thing, and then you're gonna come back around on it.
You're mad.
Shut up, Shane. I was trying to help you out earlier. I mean, who among us doesn't like to date at Michael's?
That's what I always do, and they never catch me. Ain't nobody gonna catch me.
I don't know, man.
Daniel Burgold. You got Bad Baby rolling this morning. Isn't that her name? Bad Baby.
And all these hoes laughing like so funny.
Speaking of Rico.
Oh, he's in the doghouse.
He's
out. He's out. Oh, he brought you a jersey?
Shane, can you let Rico in?
All right, we better take a break.
We'll take a break.
Old Mitchell Rico Robinson.
We'll take a quick break here.
I can tell what kind of show this is going to be.
That's DP. I'm Ravi Lulla. Let's Hurrdat Sports Live.
We continue to move forward with the planning for the soccer stadium. Since we made that announcement over a year and a half ago, a lot has changed, but we're optimistic on where we're heading, and we're very eager to be able to talk publicly about it soon.
What kind of an impact will that make down the road?
Well, to be able to have a soccer-specific facility that's built for sight lines for soccer viewing, not only from a general fan's perspective, but as well as suites, other events, games, youth academy, other soccer events, amateur events, and down the line, other business endeavors that would be playing there. So that's a mouthful, meaning a lot. And, we're excited to bring that to the Metro.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot. I spent my rookie season there, straight out of college. I went there, spent 6 months under a completely different coaching staff, and then that all changed again, and then it was kind of madness from there. So I could sit here all day and tell you what I learned, but really it was good to work with the goalkeeper coach there, Sebastian Saha, and work with the other guys like Drake Callender, CJ, Owen, and those types of guys. I was able to be a sponge when it comes to Drake Callender, who put up really good performances and had a really good stretch of games and was really a mentor for me. So it was cool for him to take me under his wing and kind of take that in stride for my first 2 years there.
Very few people. aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think we're a deep group. We have a lot of guys that are competing for jobs. Not everyone, especially, we were talking about seniors the other day, and there's not a ton of seniors. It's kind of a middle, a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, some seniors. And so I think we have a lot of talent spread around, and there's going to be a lot of competition through spring. When you have a lot of competition, that also means you have a lot of depth when it's the right type of competition. And so I think we'll have a lot of depth. We'll have a chance to play a lot of guys. So I was pleased with how we came out.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you keep those eyes focused and straight ahead when you're on the roads this morning, especially because Rico's out there, so you got to be careful. Never know what that guy's going to do.
Dude, low-key funny.
Dude, Rico's great. I love Rico. As a driver, you got one job. That's to drive. Do not get distracted. It's a message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Yeah, Rico. It's a big day for Rico. We got the Knicks jersey he brought up here for me.
We have dueling themes here.
Got a little Mitchell Robinson love.
I have your boy. I brought Wardell back for good vibes.
Yeah, he's not gonna play today.
It's for good vibes.
He's not gonna play. But
and I brought my man Sharpie for good vibes.
I appreciate the good vibes.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Tabitha, you never saw Bewitched, so that's probably.
I am aware of its existence. I never watched it.
Okay, so would you like to tell our streamers? We called my mom.
Yeah, no. So here's where we landed on the word whore with DB and his mom. She'd probably be okay with it. She did say it depends on who's around in the context. And she said I might cringe a little, which is kind of the face I was talking about. But she's like, yeah, I don't in general. She didn't think it was that bad of a word.
Yeah.
You did bring up, though, there's other words in that like realm of adjectives that
she would find much
that would
more
bristle
offensive.
up to. And I think that's a generational thing, because some of those I think get thrown around in my generation and it's not a big deal.
Right.
But I think,
and you're also you're not of the generation that would use the W word.
Yes.
Shannon doesn't start with an H, just so you know. The W word.
Wait a second. What?
Julio.
Oh, I thought it was Julio.
I don't even know how we got on this, except for, blame Rico.
Did you say it doesn't start with an H, like hula berry?
Special.
Just Puff the Magic Dragon over
this
there.
Dude is so special.
Always got smoke on the brain.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to send you this deal that Dr. JG sent about a barbering place that I was supposed to send to you. Oh, and my other man, DK, he said he felt bad for you because you had a nice Beastie Boys reference and we didn't acknowledge it.
Well,
but if he was watching on the stream, I did acknowledge it. I gave you
give him the point.
That's pretty good. I didn't say anything out loud, though.
I don't remember if I clocked the Beastie Boys reference. I don't
know. You know what I figured?
Yeah.
You don't listen a lot.
No, almost never.
Yeah. It's very like
I try not to. I just try and.
Well, I know sometimes we'll go back, especially during the day, and we'll talk about stuff, and it takes a second to. I don't know if you go full-fledged Will Ferrell.
Where I black out and don't remember anything?
Yeah. I mean, you're not beating McCarville in anything, but
hair growing contest, maybe.
Wow. Wow. Right.
Can't say anything. I mean, I got him there.
First thing that came to mind.
Well, he's pretty bald. Might be by choice, though. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think that's by choice. I think he lost that.
No, so in the moment, I try very hard to listen and be attentive and respond. And after the show is over, sometimes there's a little bit of a purge of the information.
And I can't talk because Sasha called yesterday or day before, and I go, well, what'd I say?
Like when you talk as much as we do, you gotta have to decide what to hang on to.
And for clip's sake, like it all matters. So detail matters.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So I needed my memory jogged.
That's why we need Austin and Rico to like lock in and pay attention, because like you can't really count on us to remember what we said.
I sent Austin probably 9 texts in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Did he respond?
Oh yeah. His was long. He hit me with 2 bangers too.
Yeah, he's getting after it.
No, he just was being pretty factual. Yeah. I was firing him stuff about nonsense, and he landed the plane.
Oh, good for look at him being the voice of reason. That's not a color we see on him very often.
All jokes aside, it was very rational. It was very rational.
I think he's much more rational than the person he plays on the internet.
Yeah, he's naughty. He is naughty. Hey, by the way, do you know? So I know you think I'm such a nice guy and I'm cheering for people, and I typically am, even though sometimes I just want to choke everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I am cheering for Cincinnati to implode over Trey Hendrickson.
Oh yeah,
and I want.
Well, yeah, you got divisional stuff there to worry about.
Yeah, like I'm not typically like that because for me, I'm like, oh, I don't want Tatum to be hurt. I want the Knicks to win at full strength.
Is it because you're uncomfortable with your roster? That you're like you're trying to get some edges?
No, I'm probably more passionate
about
competitively about the NFL than I am
almost anything.
Almost anything.
More so than the Dodgers? Because you like baseball more.
Probably. It's very close.
Okay.
I say I do, but like if you gave me
True Serum,
the Penetrate or Pentothal or Pentothal or
Penetrate's a different thing. Sodium pentate?
I don't know.
Sodium glycinate? Sodium nitrate?
Make them go boom. It's close.
Between baseball and football?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. I know one comes a lot more natural to me than the other. Much more natural with a bat, a ball, and a glove than I am.
In terms of playing.
Yeah.
Not your rooting interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little weird for you to root for the chaos or for the downfall of other. I mean, I get it because I do it all the time. But for you, it's a strange.
And it's different than an injury, right? I'm not sure.
Totally different than an injury.
Like they're just mismanaging this, so I'm like, thank you, Pentothal. Thank you, Todd.
Not sodium penetrate.
Yeah. So do you want to know I'm over the whole Canadian thing and I love everybody?
Sure.
Canadians say A all the time, and I like Todd, and it's in his name.
Sure.
See, you're not going to do that.
That's like just a long way around the barn to be like, he's got in his name, so I'm all of a sudden cool with Canadians.
Don't matter to me.
I'm cool with everybody.
Well, that's not true.
You got that right. You got dang right. That's not right.
You got dang right. What drop is that? Is that Nebraska?
Yeah, that's definitely Nebraska.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking
so
about?
So did he really think we were having a show Sunday?
You're dang right.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's him.
I thought he was joking.
Would you like to introduce Nebraska? Meet Ravi. Ravi, meet Nebraska.
I've talked to him before. I didn't make the connection on Twitter.
Hey, do you have they do it to ourselves? We do it to ourselves?
Do not.
I meant to ask you something about.
So the "is" for Todd is not a reference to Canada.
No, I get that. It's probably short for his last name or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to help you out there.
I'm well aware. I'm just looking for the good piece of cheese.
Yeah.
I want to play something for you.
What are we going to play?
And Shane, you can stop it when I play it because I want to know if you felt validated.
Okay.
I typically don't like to make you feel good. I want you to be as uncomfortable and miserable as possible because you say things like
just not a very nice person to me.
Correct.
Okay, fair.
I want to know how warm the cockles, which are the little ventricle opening things of your heart, were when you heard this. Shane, play Coach Rhule responding to a question that Stephen Marcuscio Precipilation asked Matthew Rhule.
Last year, I said to myself, like, what's the number one thing that we have to overcome? And it's been people from outlying areas not knowing how great this place is.
Okay.
Not knowing how great the facilities are. not knowing how great the campus is, not knowing how great Lincoln is, and not knowing how great Omaha, Lincoln, the airport, how easy. They just don't know. And so they come in with one vision and they leave with another. I was talking to, one of the top receivers in the country. I was talking to his mom when she was here. She was like, Coach, like, you told me, but I had to see it. Now I've seen it. Like, I can't believe how nice this is. I said to her, now imagine 3, 4, or 5 years of getting kids like your son here to visit. Hopefully you come great. If not, you don't, you go somewhere else, but you're always going back telling people about Nebraska. Once people know what this is like, it's going to take off. And I said, so the Colorado game on national TV, how big that is.
Okay. Would you or would you not need bounty paper towels?
So drooling a little bit?
Like, would I have to dab around the corners to get the Homer Simpson drool out of your mouth when you heard Coach Rhule say that?
Yeah, I mean that's he's feeding me catnip right there. Like that's the whole thing that we went on the rant about. I went on the rant about on Monday when we,
were you like, no, I'm dead serious.
I thought he had listened. Like, honestly,
I wouldn't give yourself that much credit.
I wouldn't either, but like the first instinct, I was like, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I think it predated. Was it before or after us?
I don't know. I don't know when the interview was recorded. I know it came out Monday later than our show did, but I don't know when it was recorded.
Was that not wild?
It was exactly the thing. Actually, because I texted you and I go, this was
yesterday.
Yeah, this is why I love the guy. Like, that's it right there. Whether I know it didn't have anything to do with me. This is why I love the guy, though, is because he understands the thing that matters to me most, and I think to a lot of Nebraskans most. Maybe they don't verbalize it in the same exact way that I do, but I think that's one of the things that matters to a lot of us in this state the most, that people don't know how great it is here. And then when we have people that represent us that also don't seem to understand how great it is here, that's really, really frustrating.
So did you get a snap? Does that give you a snapshot when I try to piece together? Because he put it into words. I just know it's how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's getting guys out of the portal or recruiting or coming to camp. If they don't get the inkling that you feel the same way about Nebraska, that I've said this 2 trillion times.
Absolutely, you have.
If you don't feel the same way about Nebraska that they do, they're going to be reluctant. And I think that's okay for everyone involved. If I'm 17, 18, 19, or I'm 22 and I'm pitching my services, you can negotiate how you want to.
But do you want to be here?
But no, it's the same thing. You can when I say negotiate, I mean your services.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily the monetary value. Like, what
I was
school am I going
contract.
to? Yeah, what school am I going to go to?
Okay.
Like, you have your vantage point and your stance, and they do too. But I'm saying, if you want them to be into you, you again, I use the Kenny Loggins reference. You better be there, and it's not even really halfway. You better be all in on what they are too, because he wants you to think as much of that place as he does.
Yeah, 100%. That is the thing that, I mean, that's why I'm riding with Coach Rhule basically no matter what. Like, something completely unforeseen would have to happen to waver me off of that, because the thing that I care about the most is seemingly is the thing that they care about the most.
I mean, he pumps it in the staff, in the play.
He does.
Like,
and that's all I really want. I want people.
Hey man, stop complaining. Be happy to be here.
Because it is a good place to be. I'm tired. We spent 20 years with people telling us that it wasn't a good place to be. I've lived here my whole life. I've been to a lot of other places. It is a good place to be. Like, that's the thing that gets me. We'll talk to Brian Christopherson coming up next.
You know, we're really proud of the journey over the past 3.5 years. You know, ultimately, I truly mean this. I know I mentioned this. The success that our other programs have had literally came up over and over again for candidates for this position. And it's one of the attractions of UNO. And I couldn't be more proud of the other head coaches we've had for these sport programs and the build they've had. But anytime you're having success with not only playing in conference championships, but much less winning them, and certainly the number of NCAA tournament appearances we've had, that's what makes jobs attractive. And we saw that during the coaching search this time.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think if I told them, hey, line up and we're going to run 5 40-yard dashes for conditioning, they might, kind of shuffle over there. If I said, hey, we're going to see who the fastest guy is, I think they would run for a day. They're just, they love to compete. They love to play. They love to challenge each other. And so it's fun to be around, whether it's even just, at the end of it, you think about what we did at the end with the fastest man competition. There was nothing scientific. That was just like, back in the playground, just relay races almost. And they loved it.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centros Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by Brian Christopherson of Husker247. Hey, what's going on, buddy?
How you guys doing?
B Sizzle, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not a lot.
Ravi's in a much better mood because he feels like his rant, his human filibuster is not substantiated.
You like called a monologue.
was substantiated by Coach Rhule, lamenting over how much he appreciates and loves Nebraska.
Yeah? Stealing from Ravi's paper again?
Everybody copies off the smart kid. But BC, all jokes aside, man, we started this conversation, you and I, a couple weeks ago about camping, and we were talking about Marty and a whole multitude of things. I'm like, guys, the thing that we're missing, whether it's in state or out of state, is I think you just have to love this place as much as they do, or it's going to be tough to meet you halfway, right? Like, and he kind of doubled down on that sentiment with your former colleague the other day, didn't he? Or is that not what you heard about his affinity for Nebraska and the toughest thing that he had to overcome, that he thinks they have to overcome?
No, I think that's true. I mean, we've heard it for as long as I've interviewed recruits. It's always I just thought it was cornfields and this and that. There is definitely a particular picture someone who hasn't been here has of the place, and it usually is dramatically flipped when they actually visit Nebraska, especially if they land in Omaha, they see that, and then they see the downtown of Lincoln and the rail yard and the arena and all that, and then just the facilities that surround it. But I also think the people, there is a sense, if you can get on the ground in Lincoln, that it matters a lot here. The particular craft that they're most interested in at this point in their life, football, just matters a lot to a lot of people, and you can feel that. I think when you're inside the building, when you're outside the building, it's sort of around you. If you're here for 24 to 48 hours, you'll pick up on that in some way. And so if I'm a prospect that wants to go to some place to get better, but also it's sort of like, man, they're really going to be into this, like every step of the way with me, whether from my recruitment all the way through my career, they're going to follow this closely. I think that comes across to people, and yeah, you want them to sense like this is a special place in a lot of ways, and I want to be a part of it. So it does tend to dramatically flip guys' opinions though once they get here.
Brian, DB's mentioned a couple times that he feels like, and this is sort of where he started with his question, is he feels like they want the recruits to be at Nebraska or to love Nebraska as much as they do. And I'm curious if anything you've heard from recruits when you're talking to them or looking through how they describe visits or how they describe their relationship with Nebraska, if that comes across at all.
Yeah, it definitely does. You know what? I guess the word I would circle back to that I've heard Rhule bring up a few times this offseason that's caught my ear is gratitude. And I think he just like, for instance, Marquez Watson, Trent, we're talking about a different type of player here, but someone who came from Georgia Southern, where they don't have the same resources and everything that they have in Lincoln, and he gets here on the ground, and it's like, man, this is incredible. Like, it just blows his mind, and it is special to him, and you don't want to take it for granted. And so I think there's definitely, this is just me picking up on what he says through the interviews. There's a feeling like I want guys who see like actually how good you have it here, the opportunities it will present to make you better, but an appreciation for it. That there is an unbelievable, like, you could talk about the nutrition department alone with Kristen Coggan. And if I were a recruit, that would be a huge sell to me. One of the big points of where I'd be like, man, I got to think about that, just the way they treat that aspect. But it goes across the board with different things. And so when people are visiting and they see these 6 or 7 different things that sort of line up where people really care about it and can grow them as a player and a person, you would hope that there's this feeling of being grateful for that opportunity and wanting to make the most of it. And then ideally wanting to sell that to other people, which is Trey Taylor's kind of doing in the 27 class. There's guys all over that building who are on the team, like Tyler Kanak, who do that when people come in. And I think that's a big deal too, is when you get the players telling other people coming in, like, this really is an interesting place for this reason and that reason. And this is how I grew in this particular area. And this person over here, you got to meet them. That's a big deal when it's all said and done, because it is those relationships. I think with all that we talk about everything else, it's still the relationships and connections when you're inside the facilities that matter the most.
B-Sizzle, you know what's funny? I just been listening to that. And you have to be like that on his staff too. How quickly did we hear Coach Holgerson almost do the exact same thing? And he used specific players. He was talking about Hunter leaving Cal, and this is a great place to be, and it's not like this everywhere else. I mean, this was just like, I don't know, what was that, like 3.5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Said that. Mm-hmm. And I looked at Ravi after he said that, and I go, do you know how many places Coach – I mean, this guy vacations in the Riviera, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's been a ton of – and I'm not comparing it to vacation destinations. I'm saying, he's been a lot of places with comps, and he's been successful. So at this stage in his career, with a program that hasn't won a ton as of late, for him to openly say those things out loud, to try to see what to get other players to understand how special this is, they either have to be equally yoked right off the bat, like you hired him and he thought that, or the longer he's been there and been around this program, it's just become the way he thinks. But either way, when the adults in the room feel like that, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just everything you need is right here. Like, for a player, it's like it's right in front of you, and if you are ready to take advantage of it, it's a great spot for you. Now, you got to be careful. You don't want to get fat and happy. There's some people who would say that's where his personality fits, because he's
he's kind of a wear out is a negative term, but he's never satisfied.
Yeah. Because there is a thing, Damon, I suppose, that you have it too good. Like, that's the setup is so shiny and everything is so nice around you, where, there's that old, you're not getting your Rocky IV training in or whatever, where you go into the log cabin and you're doing all your fancy jump roping and all that stuff. But so you got to, I guess, kind of guard against guys getting fat and happy with it. But I think that goes back to just that's where you're looking for that spark in someone, where there's gratitude. It's like they're not going to take that for granted. It's going to be something that it's like, man, this is a real blessing that everything in my life that I've worked for has led me to this place where now I have the resources where I can do it if I go after it. But I'm not going to misuse it. So you're looking for those guys who, and then I think it always comes back to, I think at this day and age, you're trying to figure out who loves football. I think that's always been the thing, where it's like everybody who comes up that's at this level was the best player as a sophomore in high school or junior in high school, just because of their God-given traits. But who just loves the game inside and out and wants to, Javen Wright used the word immerse yourself in it. Like he wants to do this season under John Butler. Like you got to find those type of guys, I think, who kind of crave it and want to see the little things on film that separate this player from that player at this level. And so you're trying to, I think, pick up on that too, on those visits, not only how they receive the resources around them, but how they receive the teaching at the camps and film study and any of that stuff you can get around them with football. Like, are they that person that is just inquisitive and wants to know the next thing from you?
All right, let me ask you something, B. You just keep saying these things. I'm sorry, Ravi.
Saying these things, yeah, that's about right.
So, how interesting is it, or maybe it's simple versus easy, that just the simple perspective that you have on the same, multiple people can have different perspectives on the same thing that you could actually now use as a strength, right? Because we've heard coaches in the past talk about the disadvantages, or, we've heard we need more ready-made guys, or, well, this place is never going to be this, or like we've heard coaches say these things out loud. But they're talking about the same place. And I guess the facilities are a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even relative to when those coaches were here, the facilities were still pretty good.
Yeah, they were never bad.
They were never bad.
Yeah.
Are you surprised, or like, well, no, that somebody can be looking at the very same thing and have such a contrast in perspective to try to get this thing as kind of the catalyst or the kickstart to define the culture?
I'm not surprised, but one of my favorite things that Rhule does is he highlights, this is great to be in the middle of the country for this reason and that reason, and he'll lay it out like with the travel and various things, and like he finds the positives and really highlights them. Yeah, I mean, I just think, like, I've heard other coaches sort of. I think they stumble down the road where they get a little negative about some of the disadvantages you could bring up or the challenges. And I don't think he does that a lot, which is a smart move. And I don't want to get in a compare game with him and this other coach over there, but I do think like he's more looking like, what can I do with what I have rather than what I can't do. I'm not going to talk about that. Like, and he talks about that with players too, like with Eckler brought that up. It's like, what can you get out of this guy? What can he give to you? It's not what he can't do. What can he do? And I think you got to take that same approach you're using with like a player that you're looking at, and you're looking at the place you're at, the building you're at, the people that are around it, how the fan base is. What can I do with that is useful, as opposed to what are maybe some hindrances that, yeah, I could talk about those out loud because there are those things. But what advantage is that to me in this program if I do that? And I think he does a good job of distancing himself from getting into those conversations or going down that avenue.
You know, what's interesting as we're talking here, BC, is you asked a question that I try and ask myself a lot, is when people do things that I don't understand, what is the advantage that it has to them? And so when you're the head football coach at Nebraska and you talk positively about Nebraska, that makes sense, right? You're trying to get people to come here and to send their kids here. That makes sense. If you're the head football coach at Nebraska and you're talking negatively about Nebraska, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the upside for you there? And then I remembered, oh, yeah, it's a built-in excuse in case you don't win more, right? Like, that's part of this unsaid thing that we appreciate about what Rhule's doing, is he's not leaving himself a lot of outs if it doesn't work out. Like, he's not leaving himself a lot of wiggle room if it doesn't go the way he or us want it to. And I think, and maybe it's a cultural thing, maybe it's a state thing, maybe it's just a me thing, I do think there's a part of us that appreciates that, where it's, instead of kind of building an excuse path to say, hey, this is why it didn't work out, or this is why we couldn't get past 9 wins, or whatever the mark is, to saying, hey, yeah, no, I've got everything I need to win big here, and we're going to give that a shot.
Yeah, I mean, he has said that from the jump. I mean, he said when he was looking at this job, that's one of the reasons why it was appealing to him. He was thinking about where college football could be headed, the various obstacles or unknowns that might be out there. And as he talked it through with Trev and the powers that be, I think there was a thought like, you know what? They're pretty well positioned financially. Actually, I can see the advantages of the geography of where they're at. As this, we have leagues now that expand from coast to coast and all that. It's actually an advantage to be right in the middle of it, and then highlighting it and going from there. But and then adjusting on the fly. Like he's obviously had to make changes. He's even acknowledged like how he's changed and how they viewed the portal somewhat since he's gotten here. And, with the 105 roster coming in, that's been something that he's had to shift, I think, with things. But that's my biggest compliment to them, is that I don't think they get caught up complaining about the ground shifting underneath their feet. And I do think there's probably coaches that would do that or are doing that, and they're going to get left behind. It's I mean, that's just the bottom line. So we'll see if it's got to translate to the W's. We all know that. It's patted on the back off season time, but I do think he's, as far as just like his mindset and the way he operates in this current climate of college sports, I really think I think he's the right guy in this moment with his mindset for dealing with all these just uncertainties and like not getting obsessed with the things that some of us would be like, I don't like that this is happening. I'm like that. Like I get frustrated with college sports and some of the stuff that's going on. But if you're in that job, what good is that to do, to beat your head against the wall about this thing or that thing? You just look at what is you can use and what can be beneficial to your program. And I think that's his kind of outlook.
I just gravitate towards that, where people are in the solutions business. Okay, this is the current landscape. Now, how do we function at a high level, right? I talk about that with Coach Rhule all the time. That's one of the reasons why I love him. I think we have a boss here that is very, very similar, that is very quick to want to roll with the times and figure out how to function at a high level, given what he has to deal with. And it's weird because sometimes, BC, we find ourselves like, whether it's your message boards or the fan base, or I mean, just like our Mondays brief little whatever that was. Sometimes when people, like when they rolled their eyes over the roots, like everybody can tell you what the outcome was. Very few people want to talk about how we got here, right? And it could be relational. It could be sports. It's just like, well, he fouled it, with 2 seconds to go. I can't believe he did that. And it's like, well, how'd we get there, right?
Yeah.
So with this, I don't think it's an eye roll moment, because if you do call yourself a developmental program, which they do, you are about patience and the 1 to 2 to 3 year impact program, which they talk about, the being appreciative of where you are, and this is a great place to be. You can't function under duress unless something is more important than the outcome. I truly believe that, not over the long haul. And so I don't know why we would roll our eyes about the whole bigger than the individual thing if you really want to win, because I think you have to start there if you're going to win at Nebraska. I don't know any other way around. You're not competing from a talent standpoint with that top 10%. You need a secret superpower, one that you can control too.
Yeah. He was kind of talking about that too within this specific team last night on the radio with Jessica, about just the crucial aspect of these summer months and having that, basically that tight brotherhood where you are doing it for something bigger, where there's that tight bond where he was saying there is adversity that's going to strike. And he brought up, it's a good example. Notre Dame had a really bad Saturday on one of Nebraska's best Saturdays in a while, when Nebraska blitzed Colorado here, and Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. They had the right stuff within the makeup of that unit in South Bend last year to dust themselves off, help each other out as brothers and move on and become one of the best teams in the country. And he knows that moment's going to arrive, and it could happen very soon this year. I think they're going to have a tough game right off the bat at Arrowhead. I'm not looking past that one at all. And there's going to be a moment where you have to respond. And so all this stuff, like in June and July and that stuff, where those guys, like when Dylan Riley or whomever it is coming to you and saying, hey, we on our own want to form a leadership group to do this. And Rhule, according to what his interview last night, sort of waved him off. He's like, go do it. Do it. I want you to be that player leadership group. Just do it. And, I really do think you'd have to say, and I know people get tired of the culture word, but it matters so much. And
Stop talking to those people, BC.
Yeah, well, I don't worry. I'm just saying I know that it's out there, but it does matter so much. And the one thing you'd have to say you could measure really well that says this culture is hitting pretty well is there's actually very few people leaving this program.
It's all of a sudden become a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, I mean, and the examples of guys who have left are all understandable usually because they're like, he just sees a little bit better chance to play, and Rhule's talked about that too, and they're not against that. But you're not seeing guys just head out the door who are like in their second year because they're still like second or third team at this point. Now we'll see how it goes over the next year or so. Things can shift, but so far there is an actual measurement we can use that shows that like guys are sort of believing in the process and that they can get built up in this program, because if they weren't that way, we would see it and have written 10 more portal stories a couple weeks ago. We didn't.
I mean, BC, it's funny because how long ago was it that people in this state thought that you couldn't recruit the state of Florida because Florida kids just didn't want to be here? Right? Like that was a narrative.
Oh, after we had the mass exodus?
Yeah, that was a narrative during the last administration, right? That it was just, you got to be careful with those Florida kids. Can't get them to stay here. They don't like the cold weather, whatever it was, right? How many Florida kids on the roster right now, BC?
Yeah, I don't know the number, but we know there's 5 or 6 that are hidden from Miami, like in the last cycle, and it's a nice clip going.
And not just that, but then you've got them talking about, I think, Cortez Mills was talking about how Ja'Cory Barney was telling everybody what a cool place it is to be and things like that. Like it's not, we thought this was less than 5 years ago. We thought that like Miami kids were kind of just like off the menu for us, right? Like, probably not going to work out here. And all of a sudden that's a major hotbed of Nebraska recruiting. Like if the culture doesn't matter, why is that? Like, how did that change? Right? Nobody from Florida wanted to stay here 3, 4, 5 years ago. Now, these guys can't stop telling their friends about how great it is here. Like that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a good point. And now, you hope that process builds up and it helps you in those tighter moments and you get over the top in some of these close games. And that's ultimately, and everybody over there knows that's how it's going to be judged. They've got to make some steps with wins and losses. But as far as how it's tracking, as far as just guys believing in their process, and even the way they talk about mat drills, like guys, I mean, it's probably something they don't love, but you can tell they actually do kind of love it in a way. Like after it's, like I went through that
after it's over,
and I get that, but there's an understanding of like, man, this sucks, but I get what the end game is here. And now in year 3 that there's more of that understanding. And so you've got guys who have done it 2 or 3 times and they're telling the new guy, just fight through it. Like Isaiah Hunter struggled in mat drills. We were told that. But at the end of it, he said, that was good. I understand why we did it. And he had a good spring, and then maybe next year, like he can push someone else who's scuffling along through their first version of it. So that's what you're hoping you're building.
BC, when you're talking about, do you like the fact, or is it kind of one of those things like, I don't know, that they talk so openly about what it takes to get over the hump and some of these close games that seems to be focused on we just need to be better, right? Like they've just kind of thrown all the other variables out.
You have to take the boogeyman out of it, right? Like you have to take the boogeyman out of the situation.
Like,
exactly.
We just need to be better.
Yeah.
Like that. pretty candid about that, because that's also an indictment too, and you have to be secure enough to eat that.
To say we haven't been good enough.
We haven't been good enough. Okay, well, what part of that can we control? Like, I just think there's power in that. In kind of the failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you control it, not what somebody did in 2019 or what happened in a drive 2 years ago. And you know, I do always think it helps when you get some new blood with some of these skill position guys that doesn't even matter to them. But what's happened in Nebraska's past, they wouldn't even know about some of that stuff. But I think Ravi said the word. It's the boogeyman aspect. It's always like, I know this well as someone who follows Minnesota pro sports. There's an element up there of it can't happen because there's some thing in the clouds that's not going to ever allow it. And that's that thought about like the Vikings. And that's why I love like Kevin O'Connell, who I know like Rhule's doing some speaking event where O'Connell's going to be at. But that's what I love about him is he's just a positive guy who's like, that's not my story. What happened here, at this point to this program or operation. So, and you got to just get your guys to let's make a few more plays. You write your own script basically.
That's our guy, BC Husker247. Brian, we appreciate the time as always. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, B.
That's Brian Christopherson, Husker247. I like that a lot. Really good stuff there from BC. I do appreciate that he's willing to have the culture conversation when a lot of people need to be okay with that word.
Well, we got Kevin Sjuts coming up. I found something I want you to listen to.
Okay.
About competitive people. 5 characteristics.
All right. We're going to talk to Kevin.
And we'll see if it resonates.
We'll talk to Kevin Sjuts coming up next, then we'll get to the competitive people after that. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We continue to move forward with the planning for the soccer stadium. Since we made that announcement over a year and a half ago, a lot has changed, but we're optimistic on where we're heading, and we're very eager to be able to talk publicly about it soon.
What kind of an impact will that make down the road?
Well, to be able to have a soccer-specific facility that's built for sight lines for soccer viewing, not only from a general fan's perspective, but as well as suites, other events, games, youth academy, other soccer events, amateur events, and down the line, other business endeavors that would be playing there. So that's a mouthful, meaning a lot. And, we're excited to bring that to the Metro.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot. I spent my rookie season there, straight out of college. I went there, spent 6 months under a completely different coaching staff, and then that all changed again, and then it was kind of madness from there. So I could sit here all day and tell you what I learned, but really it was good to work with the goalkeeper coach there, Sebastian Saha, and work with the other guys like Drake Calendar, CJ, Owen, and those types of guys. I was able to be a sponge when it comes to Drake Calendar, who put up really good performances and had really good stretch of games and was really a mentor for me. So it was cool for him to take me under his wing and kind of take that in stride for my first 2 years there.
Very few people.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Kevin Sjuts from 1011 News in Lincoln. What's up, Kevin?
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, boys.
Kevin, how are you? All right, wait, I better check on your health. Are you like knee deep in baseball right now? Youth?
Oh gosh, yes. We are.
Okay.
Baseball this, baseball that, track and field this, track and field that. We're just enjoying springtime.
You got a parent. Listen, my 6-year-old has more than one softball thing a week, and I'm traumatized. I can't imagine. I mean, heaven forbid they practice and play in the same week. Like, I'm like, oh God, 2 days wasted. I can't imagine what you go through. Right, because the baseball is brutal. It's
like every day.
Oh, it could be, or certainly all weekend.
I mean, it's what we sign up for. I'm not going to complain. It's fun.
Kevin Sjuts rule. Not going to complain.
I love it. It's fun. But my weekends aren't so weekendy, if you know what I mean. It's just by the time we get back on Sunday from the ball field, it's like I got to go back to work tomorrow, and you know. The couple of days off there just kind of go by the blink of an eye. And that's just kind of what happens. Again, love it. No place I'd rather be. Even this past weekend, Sunday, with my youngest, he plays 11U baseball. We're up in Fremont, play our first game at, I think, noon, if I remember it correctly. They advance. They play at 4 o'clock. Team wins a championship. Families all have to go out and, have dinner together. It's Mother's Day, celebrate the moms, which are just an amazing group of women. And by the time we got home, it might have been 8:30 at night. And so at that point, you're flipping on Sunday Night Baseball, and the game's in the 8th inning, and we just got home. We go to bed, and off we are into the next week.
Who's the better cooler packer?
That's not me.
Okay.
I get in trouble.
You didn't do it right?
Okay. Are you guys aware of the Snackle Box?
I'm sorry, what?
I've seen like the new phenomenons, and now everybody's got their variations and cost you an arm and a leg, but apparently they work.
So clearly Ravi's not sure of what the Snackle Box is.
I am unaware.
Revelation here. And so it's a tackle box, but it's a little tray with 8 compartments, 4 little 2 rows of 4.
It's like my vitamin thing on steroids. It's bigger. It's bigger.
It's exactly right. Yeah, it's like the vitamins and the medication, but instead this is how we're feeding our child at a ball game. But it's perfect because you can throw in your Cheez-Its in one, and then it keeps separate from the grapes, and there's no moisture spilling. Oh my goodness! For me,
you know what we had, Kevin? We had plastic baggies,
Ziploc baggies, baby.
Oh my goodness!
And you may get a little water that leaked in when you put them in the cooler. It was fine.
Listen, if you're hungry, you're gonna eat it. If you're hungry, you're gonna eat it.
Oh man, my bread is soggy. Well, then you ain't hungry.
Not hungry enough.
That's Yeah, get out there and play another couple innings, Johnny. Come back to me when you are
See how
hungry.
you feel at the soggy bread then, huh?
So it's this, like, they're at every ballpark in America, and I've even said to the families on our team, including one mother in particular who maybe pressured my wife to buy this thing, was like, yeah, why don't we need just sandwich bags work, you know? And, oh, Kevin, but you don't understand, you know, it's all in one place and you just pull, whatever. So, cooler packer, that's not me. It's my wife. In fact, I tried to do it one time recently, and I got that side eye, like, you did it wrong. I don't know how you really do it wrong, but apparently I found a way to somehow.
Is all the food we're supposed to have in the snackable box? Okay, I think I did it right then.
Bro, I had celery. I had the veg. You know, we had a couple of I think they're strawberries and grapes. I had like some little pretzel crisps. So we have, you know, just something quick. I think I even had like almonds in one of them. Like,
it's adult Lunchables, baby. Adult Lunchables.
Yeah, it was good. I thought I did a good job,
Attaboy.
and I failed.
Which,
So maybe that just gets. Maybe that's like the new dishwasher. I can't touch the dishwasher because I mess it up every time. So maybe I've made myself exempt from ever having to pack the snackle box ever again.
you appear to be very domestic, Kevin. Maybe you should work all the time. Hey, so which do you think happens first? Nebraska has kind of their seed dictated by winning a game or two against Purdue, or the amount of time it took you to figure out all the potential happenings from a 5 to a 6 to a 7 to an 8 to a 9 seed to being out of the Big Ten tournament? Did you process the scenarios quicker than you think Nebraska can get a win or two this weekend?
I still can't process the scenario. So
There's a lot.
It's really weird. You know, there are 5 teams, and there's going to be 4 spots. 5 teams separated by 1 game. There's 4 spots at the bottom of the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska, of the 5, is at the top. Purdue's not very good on Friday nights, which in this series is a Thursday. Neither is Nebraska, but I do like if the Huskers roll back Tucker Timmerman to start the series. It worked well last weekend. So if they do that again, I think that improves Nebraska's chances. I think Nebraska, if they just take care of game 1 on Thursday in West Lafayette, they're in a great spot. They could climb up the food chain in the Big Ten, but I really think right now it's all about just get the 1 and you can breathe a little easier.
Yeah, I'm with you, and the coach in me says, you know what, Kevin, you're spot on, but I'm not going to kid you. I'm like, yeah, UCLA is going to try to hammer Northwestern. They're like playing for a top 8 seed. And I'm looking at Michigan State, and it has Minnesota really quit. It's like, believe it, Ohio State. God, they're awful. Like, I found myself looking at the other teams too, knowing good and well, Kevin, I should just be saying, Nebraska, just worry about you and you'll be just fine.
And have you guys looked at the Big Ten tournament format? You know, it's
I
what
don't.
we're used to.
Listen, the pod thing is tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it.
Listen, it's like it's in essence the tiebreaker is the top 4 seeds, right? So the way you set up your pitching in this pod thing is hairy, Kevin. I think it's because a potential game changer.
And I don't think that the seed matters as much with the pod situation, with the different pools that they're doing. So, you know, as much as you might want to say, well, if they could get up to a 6, what does it really matter? It's not like you're playing out a bracket where, you know, 1's playing 8, 2's playing 7. It's not that way. The format changes with the conference tournament expanding. So really, of course you want to finish higher in the league, but just get in the tournament. And right now for Nebraska, it's just winning on Thursday, and everything looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a team like Iowa that's got to be looking at this new system and thinking, well, what advantage was it to really win? Like, you know, to win the turn,
didn't get a lot of help
regular
here.
season. Like, it's now I get the rest thing to some degree, but you're right. Without the tiered seedings, it's tough.
And I think it's going to be very different from a fan experience next week with the Big Ten tournament in Omaha, because the way that they have
you don't know when to come.
And you don't know when to come. And also, you're not going to see your team, your favorite team, play every single day. They're going to have an off day somewhere in the middle there.
Yep.
It's very staggered from a scheduling perspective because, you know, Pool A is going to play, I might misquote this, but I'm just trying to like throw out the scenario for the listeners here that you might play on Tuesday and then you don't play till Thursday, or you might play on Wednesday and then you're off until Friday. So there's a lot in the air, and for anybody trying to plan to travel, I mean, good luck. You just got to block out the whole week, I guess. And even for us, trying to figure out how we're gonna staff to cover the thing. Not that it's that far from Lincoln to Omaha, but still, with everything else going on next week, with state baseball, high school, state track and field championships, state soccer finals on Monday and Tuesday, it's like, how do we even fit in the Big Ten tournament, especially not knowing when Nebraska is going to play? And we won't know until Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's our guy, Kevin Sjuts, 1011 News in Lincoln. Kevin, appreciate the time.
Let me sneak in one more real quick.
Yeah.
If you were going to sprinkle in a magic elixir for Nebraska softball, okay, as the two, would you grant them timely hitting or consistency on the bump behind ball?
It's B all the way. Just play well behind Jordy, because you have an elite talent in the circle. If she gets some support behind her, and I think they've done a pretty
You need
job.
one more arm, though, right?
No.
Okay.
You don't. Not this time of year. No.
All right.
You just ride Jordy, and that's why I think Nebraska is making it out of Baton Rouge. I think they're going to play in the Supers, and they're going to have a shot. I really do. And from everything that I've heard and I've read and I've seen, nobody wanted Nebraska to come to their regional.
And
LSU,
those field dimensions help Nebraska. Like, if they're hitting – now, they haven't been good against top-tier teams offensively so much. But, man, they should be able to swing it there if they're on.
But let's talk about ceiling real quick. I know you guys are short on time.
I'm not. Wait, listen. This whole digital thing, Kevin, you do what you want to do, buddy.
Well, I'll make this point, and you guys can go with it from wherever you want. Nebraska's ceiling still has not been reached this year. Rhonda Ravel believes that. The players believe that. And I think a lot of fans believe that. And this time of year, the way Nebraska played toward the end of the regular season, they're trending toward their ceiling. At some point, it all comes together, correct?
Yeah.
And with a bona fide superstar like Jordy Ball leading the way, she doesn't need to do everything, because she has offensive help and she has some nice defensive help. But if they happen to have a really good weekend in Baton Rouge, they're winning the regional. And if they have a really good weekend following, they could maybe go to the Women's College World Series. I don't think that is a stretch for this team, just because the ceiling is so incredibly high. I think at the beginning of the year, some people thought, this team's going to be really good. They have the potential to be really good. But as the games played on, the weeks went on, and the months went by, everybody got to see all these little windows of, wow, they can hit it. Wow, they can produce up and down the lineup. Oh, they have an elite arm. Well, at one point, everything has to line up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in the postseason.
My man.
Kevin Sjuts, 1011 News in Lincoln. Great stuff as always, Kevin. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kev.
Enjoy the Snackle Box, Ravi. Look it up. Get yourself one.
I did. I Googled it. I'm out.
Wait, he'll bring it on his little sailboat that he likes to do. We got bougie Lulla over here, Kevin. Don't let him fool you.
Run? I don't even know what does it cost.
A Snackle Box? Oh, I didn't look at the price. I was just trying to figure out what they were.
They're
too much. That's the answer. Too much. Ziploc baggies at Walmart, much cheaper.
They're anywhere from 17 to 30. It just depends on the size. You get a little small one for $10. But I'm sure it gets a little leaky. We can't have any crossover preset.
Apparently, you can spend as much at shopsnacklebox.com as $65 on one.
Oh my!
Which
goodness.
Seems aggressive.
I feel like that might be what my wife.
Hey, you just keep working.
She's got that Rolls Royce Snackle Box. She's got the whole thing going.
Enjoy it, buddy.
All right, be well, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's Kevin Sjuts, 1011 News in Lincoln. I'm gonna have to deep dive this a little bit. I got to know what a $65 Snackle Box looks like.
Look, I would laugh. I picked Zoe up from school yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, hey, how was lunch? Because she looks at the calendar and, you try to grocery shop. And I said, well, what'd you take today? And she said, I took chicken fries. And this is a girl that's taken walking tacos too. And I'm like, well, Zoe, I finally asked the question. I'm like, Zoe, I said, how do you keep it warm? She said, you haven't seen my new thermos? It's temperature controlled. Who bought that? And what are we doing?
What happened to cold cuts?
Man.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
We continue to move forward with the planning for the soccer stadium. Since we made that announcement over a year and a half ago, a lot has changed, but we're optimistic on where we're heading, and we're very eager to be able to talk publicly about it soon.
What kind of an impact will that make down the road?
Well, to be able to have a soccer-specific facility that's built for sight lines for soccer viewing, not only from a general fan's perspective, but as well as suites, other events, games, youth academy, other soccer events, amateur events, and down the line, other business endeavors that would be playing there. So that's a mouthful, meaning a lot. And, we're excited to bring that to the Metro.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot. I spent my rookie season there, straight out of college. I went there, spent 6 months under a completely different coaching staff, and then that all changed again, and it was kind of madness from there. So I could sit here all day and tell you what I learned, but really it was good to work with the goalkeeper coach there, Sebastian Saha, and work with the other guys like Drake Callender, CJ, Owen, and those types of guys. I was able to be a sponge when it comes to Drake Callender, who put up really good performances and had really good stretch of games and was really a mentor for me. So it was cool for him to take me under his wing and kind of take that in stride for my first 2 years there.
Very few people.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you you've got so many possibilities with the equity in your home. You can finish a bathroom remodel, update your kitchen, or even just take that vacation you've been planning on. Here's how it works. A home equity loan or line of credit with Centris Federal Credit Union allows you to access your home's equity for the cash you need now. This offers typically lower interest rates than other credit card or personal loan options. Go check it out, centrisfcu.org, to see all the possibilities along with the service and expertise you need to make the right decision. Federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. DB.
What's up? Hey, my man Stank Nooner is on Peachios.
Oh, the Peachos, like the little candies?
Yeah.
Oh, I like those.
Man, I can't believe how popular those
I like
are.
those a lot, man.
That's a thing in our house. I'm like, those are terrible. I don't like any candy that has the sugary outside.
Oh, I love that.
But
like if I'm going to go candy, like I love that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the those are the Peachos, and then the little candied orange slices are like my jam.
So I don't know if you've ever been to Five Below. Do not go in that place.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
If you do not have any sort of sugar discipline.
Yeah.
I guess you get to do what you want to do. But
there's a huge candy section in there.
Crack.
Yeah.
Smoke crack, don't you?
Lean on me. I got it right that time.
Well,
hey, I'm tripping.
Well done.
Thank you.
You got it.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. By the way, are you coming to work
When?
Friday after the game?
The Cincinnati game?
Yeah.
I was planning on it.
Fudge. Are you gonna make me come to work?
You don't have to.
Well,
if you
you
don't
gotta
want to.
understand though.
You think I'm gonna miss the morning after the opener?
No, that's why I didn't say anything. Because I just assumed you were going to be here.
Listen, all I need to do is come home and shower.
I assume you may not sleep, but I
I
assume
won't.
You'll be here.
Yeah. I won't.
Yeah.
No question.
I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Gonna have a good time.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm
exciting.
still trying to move that Thursday game for us
Get it,
that no one will be at.
get it out of there.
It's incredible. I don't know what's taking so long, but it's making me nervous.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a little close. Cutting a little close here. They announced that game a while ago. Let's get moving, guys.
Yeah. 8 p.m. though.
I'm just curious. Does nobody want to make any money at that high school game?
I don't know. I mean,
Because like the gate still matters, right?
it should. It should. It absolutely.
You think there's going to be a lot of people when there's a Nebraska football game opening the season on a Thursday?
No, especially with a lot of hype.
And it's in Kansas City, so you're probably gonna make a day of it.
How many people do you think? So is it a day or a weekend?
Probably weekend. You probably go down
Is
Thursday.
Kansas City a place to stay for the weekend?
Probably not the whole weekend, but you're probably going. If it were me,
Yeah.
and I'm going recreationally, I would go after work. I get off.
Like your weed habit?
No, I mean not professionally.
Recreational.
Well, you gotta understand though.
It never affected my
It didn't
play.
affect my play.
Yes, it did.
So I'd probably get off work a little early on Thursday, like a mid-afternoon situation.
Yeah.
Head on down, get all set up in the hotel or whatever I've got situated for Kansas City, head over to the game. Then I'd probably spend Friday in Kansas City doing whatever, and I'd probably leave Saturday morning. So not the whole weekend,
Right.
but I would spend a couple days. Might as well. Why not? You're there.
Yeah, hit like Chef J's or
Yeah, eat a little, go hang out.
Slaps or you gotta go to a place that has burn ends.
Absolutely.
We're
Get a little barbecue, maybe go see the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame.
You trying to throw me a bone with the Negro League or
No, I've heard it's one of the best, like if you're a baseball fan, I've heard it's one of the best experiences.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I want to though.
So no, Hunter. No, not Arthur Bryant's. No. Not Q39.
All right, so what's your place?
I'm kind of a hole in the wall kind of guy.
Okay.
But I do like Chef J's. Hunter said yes. God, what do I say to that? Yes.
Oh no.
It's kind of cute. A little weird between us, but not that there's anything wrong with that. No. Yes. I know you are, but what am I?
I'm rubber and you're glue.
I Chef J's is a barbecue place I like. If Big B, if you go to Gates, you got to go to the one in the Hood, just right around the corner from Kauffman Stadium.
I think Gates and Arthur Bryant's are the two that I've been to most recently.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Slaps?
I don't think so.
It's okay, but they do have burn ends.
Yeah.
Now,
does Chef J's have the best burn ends, or who's got the best burn ends?
They have bacon burn ends.
Ooh.
Plus, I have an end because I have somebody that lives there.
Yeah.
So I go to spots.
Is that your JB guy?
Well, he has a real yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You call him JB and KC. That's the only way I know him by.
Well, it's Joe.
Joel. Okay.
Yeah.
Joe or Joel?
Joe Buelt.
Oh, the guy that chimes in on the chat. Okay.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, how about his wife just whipping cancer?
Actual good dude or piece of cheese good dude?
No, actual.
Okay.
Like for real.
Yeah.
Like rang the bell.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe and his wife for beating cancer. That's
how about
awesome.
How about that?
Yeah. Need some of those wins every now and then.
Take a dub.
Yeah.
Especially flipping lately.
I know.
Why Arthur Bryant? I'm not gonna argue about barbecue. It is low-hanging fruit. It's like pizza places or wings. Now, Joseph, full disclosure.
It does matter.
I did shoot down Q39. Q39 is great. It's just not what I would call barbecue. It is a very good restaurant.
Okay.
It's kind of like
But if you want like barbecue,
the gastro pub contemporary barbecue. It's not like traditional.
Okay. So they're doing a little other stuff.
Yeah. But Q30, it's good. It's really good.
But if you want,
I don't want to be that.
But if you want traditional barbecue, that's probably not the spot.
Right.
Okay, that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
But I don't.
There's a distinction to be made.
JMP, I did not mean to be that guy because I do like Q39. I feel like that's important. Why are you laughing?
I don't mean to be that guy. I just thought it was funny.
Oh, everybody's got.
No,
those
everybody knows
hot
that guy.
takes,
Yeah, everybody knows that
and
guy.
it's
where it's like,
but I do like to get off the grid.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise you. It doesn't surprise me that you don't love the popular places.
See, I'm with Husker. Does it seem like I'm riding with him a ton?
Lately, yeah, it seems like you guys.
He has. I don't know what it is, but he's saying a lot of the right things.
Yeah, it's not a big Jack Stack guy.
No.
So I went to Jack Stack a long time ago and don't remember being.
It gives me Arthur Bryant vibes. I mean, no.
No. With all due respect, I think it sucks.
Yeah, but I do think you have to kind of figure out what you like.
Yeah, you have to figure out what you're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah, I am a big burnt ends guy.
Yeah.
So I like burnt ends. I like rib tips. They have like Chef Jay's has really good in-house homemade sausage.
I do like
and they have a beef sausage. They got a jalapeno and cheese.
Yeah.
They got if you like sides.
Oh, I love sides.
Well, they have smoked elote.
I love sides.
Do you like corn?
I'm not a big elote guy.
I hate corn.
My wife loves elote. I'm not. It's not for me. I'm more of your traditional, give me the mac and cheese. Give me that. I like a good coleslaw. Give me some of that
what
stuff.
else did they have that you'd like? Do you like potato salad? They got a bacon and blue potato salad you might like.
So I'm not gonna ever probably go out of my way to get potato salad, but there are some that
Wait, what is it again?
Yeah, I hit the A on there like I'm really Midwestern on accident.
Okay, so you know that.
No,
right?
I hit it. Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Is it
potato?
I'm not gonna shame you. Are you a potato guy?
I'm not, but for some reason when I say potato salad.
Oh, that was tough.
Did
you get that out?
It was. I sound like Samwise Gamgee. Potato.
You sound like who?
Samwise Gamgee. Lord of the Rings. You're a Lord of the Rings guy.
That is a great pull. big Lord of the Rings guy.
The number of times my wife and I just look at each other and go, potatoes it's ridiculous. She's like, hey, what do you get for your size?
It just rolled right off the tongue.
So for whatever reason, I think it's a very Midwestern thing. People will say potato salad. That's the only time I don't put the O on it.
There's another place that I like that JB turned me on to. The first spot that the owners had was Char, which is it's good. It's not great.
Yeah.
But Char's good. They opened another smoke place that's pretty good. And I can't remember the name of it. But I probably would start at Chef Jay's.
I'm going to have to get a list from you of Omaha places that have good rib tips and
it's hard to find. I mean, hard to find.
I'm not a brisket guy.
I get it.
I'm not really pulled pork is fine, but I'm not going to go somewhere to get pulled pork.
Read Hunter. I'm not Hunter. I know plenty of people that look like you that do good barbecue.
Why Arthur Bryant's? I'm white. Leave me alone. LOL. That's Hunter saying that, not me. That's Hunter said it, not me. He's quiet.
My favorite My favorite barbecue place in Omaha, both of them are
run by the whites.
Yes. You're an idiot.
Well, I was just asking. Todd's out on potato salad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to search it out, but every once in a while I'll find one and it hits the spot.
I'm out on potato salad too. Although I will say that our light-skinned friend Michael Severe makes a fantastic potato salad.
Yeah, like
he's otherwise a horrible cook, but his potato salad is off the chain.
I'm not going to look for it, but every once in a while, if it's out somewhere and I'll try it and it's really good, like it does hit the spot for me.
I'm still laughing at Hunter hitting me with the yes. No, yes.
We'll be back with John Rathouz.
Little golf, baby.
To talk a little PGA Championship coming up next.
We continue to move forward with the planning for the soccer stadium. Since we made that announcement over a year and a half ago, a lot has changed, but we're optimistic on where we're heading, and we're very eager to be able to talk publicly about it soon.
What kind of an impact will that make down the road?
Well, to be able to have a soccer-specific facility that's built for sight lines for soccer viewing, not only from a general fan's perspective, but as well as suites, other events, games, youth academy, other soccer events, amateur events, and down the line, other business endeavors that would be playing there. So that's a mouthful, meaning a lot. And, we're excited to bring that to the Metro.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot. I spent my rookie season there, straight out of college. I went there, spent 6 months under a completely different coaching staff, and then that all changed again, and then it was kind of madness from there. So I could sit here all day and tell you what I learned, but really it was good to work with the goalkeeper coach there, Sebastian Saha, and work with the other guys like Drake Callender, CJ, Owen, and those types of guys. I was able to be a sponge when it comes to Drake Callender, who put up really good performances and had really good stretch of games and was really a mentor for me. So it was cool for him to take me under his wing and kind of take that in stride for my first 2 years there.
Very few people.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
He tried to take a little of the breakout.
Oh, that's a wonderful shot.
It's the perfect leave.
Sander with victory at Valhalla.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by John Rathouz, former caddy and host of the Quiet Please podcast. What's up, John?
What's up, guys? Good morning.
We're just trying to make it. We are just trying to make it. I have a co-host who is very surly, pretty squirrely. And I have a producer that likes to spend his weekends at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. So I have a lot of weird things going on this morning, John, but perhaps none as strange as the calendar. Have you become accustomed to the PGA calendar now and how it scheduled its events?
Yeah, maybe not as much. I don't know. It feels like it's been a long time between the Masters and now, but then this thing used to be back in August. So I don't know. It kind of snuck up on us in a way, but it's nice that, there's not maybe as long a break as there used to be.
John, so let's talk about the PGA here because, it's unlike obviously the Masters. You jump around a lot. You don't really necessarily have a great feel for what the course is going to be like if you don't follow this super closely. So talk to me about Quail Hollow and some of the challenges it presents and some of the opportunities it'll present for certain types of golfers.
Yeah, so this is an interesting week for the PGA, just because a lot of times you're kind of going to places that, maybe you see once every 5 years, every 10 years. And this is a week where a lot of the guys in the field will have a ton of reps on this golf course because it's the regular stop on the PGA Tour around this month of the season too. So I've had a chance to caddy out there a number of times. It's a tremendous test. It's always in amazing condition. They're one of the few courses that have like a sub-air system underneath their greens like you see at Augusta. So they can suck that moisture out. So I know they've got a lot of rain already, but the green should be nice and they should be able to get them firm by the end of the weekend. It's very long. And the greens get really fast. It's a good test of your irons. There's a little bit of short game nuance there. And then the putting, like I said, it can get pretty tricky and speedy. Off the tee, though, it's like bombs away. And you can see with Rory how well he's done there over the years, why it's such a good fit. There's some other ways to get it done there. But it's a really good test. They've tinkered with the course a little bit in recent years, but I like it overall.
Yeah, length doesn't seem to bother a lot of these guys anymore. So when you're looking at a course like this where there is such familiarity, how much do you think like shot shaping or even being able to envision a shot, is this a pretty straightforward course, relatively speaking, as you look at before we get into kind of like capping the particular golfers?
Yeah, I mean, I think off the tee it is. It's just, the fairways are a little wider. They'll be even wider now with all the rain. The targets are very apparent. I mean, I will say that certain guys, like a guy like Xander Schauffele, like his caddy commented about how, Xander plays well there because he can get really good lines off the tee. Patrick Reed's played well there. He tends to drive it well off the tee. I think when you start thinking about like from a strategic perspective and how it will maybe pay off as the week goes on, I think then you start to see that with the second shots right into the greens and where to leave yourself. And then once you get on the greens, just how putts are breaking. So I think that's where the experience is going to really pay off for guys. I mean, I think one of the sneaky storylines, with Scheffler, obviously one of the favorites, never has played here before, and so I'm wondering how that's going to pan out for him at the end of the week. When you're talking about some of the best players in the world having a leg up on some, course history, some course knowledge, is Scotty going to be there on Sunday? Absolutely. Is he going to get a half a shot a week, a day that might add up to one or two in the end to be the difference? I think it very well could play out that way. So it's going to be a really interesting test.
He's actually putting the ball well. And this is, I mean, he's got 17 and 22 under his belt. Do I dare bring up JT this week and have you not laughed me off our own show?
No, I mean, I think JT's playing great. I'll give a couple of reasons to like him. I mean, obviously he won here in 2017. Now, I think it's worth stating that, as you said at the beginning of the show, this was in August, that year. So you're getting a course that's got all Bermuda. Now you've got the overseed. It plays a little slower, a little longer. Now distance is not a problem for Justin, and he's seen this place in May. Now, he hasn't driving the ball as well as he could, and that's kind of maybe going to be something that holds him back this week. But like I said, the fairways are playing wider.
First driving year of his career.
Yeah, there you go. And a lot of pulls, which pulls are kind of like, when you get pulls in there, they can get kind of scary. But I'm sure he'll show well. I mean, he played good Well, he won a couple weeks ago. I think, from a caddy perspective, he had that win. We were kind of talking about him at Augusta, and he didn't pop that week, and then he went and won the next week, and he had, his replacement caddy on the bag because his caddy was injured in Joe Griner. They go out and get a win, and then now Joe's with Colin Morikawa, and JT brings back his old caddy, which is great, and he goes and finishes second last week with his old, reliable caddy on the bag. And so I think that's kind of interesting how Ravi's back on the bag this week and Justin's playing well, but they haven't won in a while as a duo, right? He got that win with Joe Griner about a month ago. So I think that's kind of in JT's favor. Having to win this at the same place, 2 times in a row, that's the one where it's like, oh man, can he do it again?
John, when we're talking about a guy like Rory McIlroy here, you mentioned him kind of off the tee and how he could do well here. Do you think getting that sort of decade-long major drought kind of off of his back plays into this here? Or is it, hey, I've completed the career Grand Slam, I've kind of got it done? Like, how do you think mentally Rory is coming into this, coming off the Masters?
I don't remember a guy, John, that's taken this long off between significant wins that is this heavily or highly thought of at this stage in his career like McIlroy. It's incredible. We almost left him for dead.
Yeah, I know. That was an amazing Sunday, and he got it done, and we were on him, and he's got an incredible opportunity this week, and I think, if you hadn't have won Augusta, this one would have been real high priority, maybe a little bit of pressure on it too, because he's still battling that I haven't won in 10 years thing. Now he's got that gone. He's got the career Grand Slam gone. So now is it like, all right, is he going to be how he has been, super hungry, super aggressive, or is he going to be a little satisfied resting on your laurels? And I think that's what people are going to try to figure out. I think it's important for him to play good on either Thursday or Friday. I think if he kind of just makes the cut and is lingering in the background on Saturday, I don't think he's going to have enough, in the tank to kind of chase it all down. So I think he needs to get off to a good start. But he's a history guy, and I put this out there on X back in January, and people laughed at me a little bit, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to come out to play, but you look at the majors this year, and they were lined up for Rory, and this is number 2. If you want to talk about a season-long Grand Slam and sweating things going in to Oakmont, where it's a great place for a guy like Rory McIlroy, or going back to Ireland for the Open Championship, you could go down to Ameristar, go down to the boats, and parlay that into a Grand Slam if you want and see what happens. I mean, I think it would be crazy, but it's lined up for him. So he has to play well this week. He knows this place really well. So I'm really interested to see what he brings out this week.
Full disclosure, I'm a little gun shy over how he treated me at the Masters. And by the way, I finished between these two yahoos 23 strokes behind both of these guys.
Yeah.
Cool. So it was horrible. A lot of it had to do with this guy I'm getting ready to ask you about. But that's
well, I feel like, Damon, part of that. I did listen to your guys' show on that Monday, and I feel like I played a part in that too. Because we had some guys we were talking about, and look at some of these guys, like we were throwing around look at what Straka's done again. We were off him by a week. Look what Justin
Tomlin. And I'm going to ask you about old Victor.
You back on Vic? Let's do it.
I don't know if I'm going to be back on.
Do it.
But I know he was good in 23, and something about him in Quail Hollow. I want to revisit him, but
Damon, let's go. I initially wouldn't have been on it. I've got some inside info. Good buddy of mine, Big B, fan of yours, the predictor of predictions. He's on Hovland this week.
Okay.
And here's the thing about Hovland. He did get that win in there about 2 months ago. That's great. He finished 3rd at the 2024 PGA. He finished, I think, 2nd the year before that at the PGA. And he's a guy that where you'd be like, short game, I don't know. And then, all right, softer conditions, so maybe we're going to hit a few more greens. That's not a big a deal. He's a gamer. You know it. You know he wants to win one of these, and he's a guy where you'd be like, you know what, if it's his week, he's going to go run away with the thing and be in the mix. So I'm, initially I was like, why would you play Hovland? And the more I thought about it, like, it's kind of a sneaky under the radar pick, and I'm sure his odds are pretty good because he hasn't been playing as well as some of these top guys.
I've got him at plus 3,400.
There you go. Like, that's a pretty good number on Vic Hovland.
Good number.
Is it better than my guy Ludwig Oberg's plus 1,900?
Oh man, I think it's still going to be a superstar. I was listening to Matt Every, long. He was out with Ludwig on PGA Tour Live last week, and he's just like, it ain't there.
Yeah,
it's not there. And so, I at 19-1, like, it's even harder to get there. Does he have it in him? Absolutely, he's got all the skill in the world. He will win majors. I'm not as high on him this week as I was, like, maybe going into Augusta.
So when you're talking to a guy and you're like, hey, he just doesn't have it, is that just mentally he's not in the right place right now? He's not swinging it right? Like, when you say he doesn't have it, like, what does that look like?
I think when you say something like that, it's more like you're watching him on the range hitting shots, or you see him on the golf course and you're seeing misses in places where, a guy wouldn't normally miss, or you're seeing, like, he dumps something short right with an iron, and then a couple holes later he pulls one long left, like, just not synced up, right? And a guy can find that on the range Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He can find it on Saturday morning. Like, it happens. But what happens when you're starting to say about winning a golf tournament is, like, all these other guys firing on cylinders and you're not going to win. And that's kind of, I think, where you kind of start to try to break it down for a guy like him, where it's like, can he find it? And then can he turn it on, this week with all these other guys that are going to be peaking? And I think that's where I kind of come down on him.
All right. Speaking of going back to the old wishing well, he's got to win there in 2020. But how about my guy Colin? He's usually in one of my top 3 or 4 picks of every draft.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of a ding dong. What do you think about Morikawa?
Yeah, I mean, Morikawa, like, he keeps stringing pretty good finishes together. Another caddy storyline with him. He hired Joe Griner, as I referenced, and Joe was on Max Homa's bag for a number of years, right?
That's what I need to know.
So Max is a winner there. So Joe knows the way around that place. Part of me, from a caddy perspective, here you got a new relationship. You guys are still learning each other. The caddy comes in with, like, this really good knowledge base. The player's really good. Is it ripe for some over-analysis? Maybe. Those guys are veterans, so I'm sure they'll figure it out. But Colin is just kind of strange when you look at, like, his stats. Like, he's just kind of not as consistent. Like, he doesn't have really big peaks in any of his statistical categories. Like, it's just kind of a little bit off. I think he's hitting the ball really well, and he's certainly capable. So I'm never going to talk anybody out of Colin Morikawa, but maybe not highlighted in bold for me this week.
Go ahead.
What do you think? And I don't know, you understand emotions probably as well as anybody, but what do you think is going on with Koepka?
Oh man, I think he's playing golf on a tour that he doesn't want to be on. I think he's out there and he thinks it's not real golf. So that's tough. He's getting paid, but he's not, and this is an opportunity for him, right? This is what he lives for. And Rory just tied him at 5 on the list, right? So, but again, can you just kind of go, disappear, show up and win? Well, he's actually a guy that's done that. So, maybe he could, but he seems like he's getting a little bit back from the pack at the moment. We need to get him back out on the PGA Tour. I think
3 of these, though.
He has. He knows what he's doing. Very capable caddy. Like, they are a great team. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that he was in the mix at one of these as well. You're right. I think it was the PGA. What is it? Was it the one 2 years ago? Did he win at Oak Hills? Is that what it was?
1 in 23, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Or where was it in 23? Yeah, it was Oak Hills. So last year was Valhalla. Yeah. Yeah. So he's a gamer.
John, all right, let's get your picks here. Who, if you're heading down to the old riverboats, who do you like?
Riverboat.
I just don't want to be last. Like that. That's
you don't want to be last. Okay. Well,
probably follows it more than these two. I had no business being blown out like that.
I got guys.
Well, I had 2 missed cuts.
We didn't talk about Bryson. He's putted amazing at this place before, and he's playing some of the best in the world. Maybe not as keen on him, but he probably will be there. I do like Rory this week. Now, you're not going to make any money on him. Another guy that's just, if you're looking for like kind of a sneakier down the board guy, Sung J M, has finished in the top 10 here his last 2 times around at Quail Hollow, and he's got 2 straight top 10s in the majors. Now, he doesn't bomb the ball, but he's playing pretty good. His short game's awesome. His irons aren't as good as they could be, but he's a guy like that's close enough that if he kind of found a good feel on the range here early in the week, I could see him finally getting himself in the mix on one of these. So I like Sung Jae this week. A lot of people are on Patrick Reed, which is kind of crazy to say. He finished second here in 2017. He finished third at the Masters a month ago. He's playing some really good golf on the Live Tour. He likes this place, but that's way down the board. And Patrick Cantlay's starting to heat up. He's never been good here, and we don't like taking Patrick, I know, but those are some ones I've got my eye on. I think Xander's interesting too, but maybe still with the slow start to the season. So I'm on Rory. I'm gonna ride that train until it's not there, and then I like Sung J.M. as my sneaky play.
I need a doable long shot. Talk to me about Corey Connors.
Sure. Yeah, Corey's great. We could get even crazier on long shots, and you could go like with the Chattanooga, the Chattanooga 3-ball, that's all playing good. You could go Keith Mitchell, Harris English, Steven Yeager.
Do we
get crazy with those 3?
Like anything about guy coming off a win last week at the Tourist, Sepp Straka?
How about it? I think that's very much a possibility with old Sepper.
1. That one's going to pay you.
He's done well in the major before. He's got this signature under his belt now. Like, that guy is a horse. And he's got his other caddy, but he had a fill-in caddy last week, and now Dwayne Bach comes back on the bag. So there's another one where it's like, hey, you got it done with your buddy. Let's go get one ourselves right now.
Now, I got to ask you about the Nikola Jokic of the PGA Tour. He just acts like he dreads being out there, but he's uber talented. Is it a good week to hop back on the John Rahm train?
Oh, man. The only thing that I can think about with John Rahm this week is that his caddy lives in Charlotte. So his caddy's sleeping good, But Rahm he actually is pretty good in the data golf rankings. He's like 5th in the world according to their metrics, but it's like I haven't heard of him in a year.
Hey, just like he just doesn't enjoy being out there.
I think he hates it here.
Yeah, he's just another guy he's like, oh man, my bank account looks amazing, but this is stupid.
He looks like a guy clocking in at a factory.
Right? Geez. So I don't know about Rahm. He just seems like it's like with him, it's like, okay, I see him in the mix Saturday, Sunday, but he hasn't been in the mix with these guys on Sunday, right? So you throw him in there, and is it a guarantee that all of a sudden he's going to be able to push the right buttons, or is it going to be like, oh, okay, this again, and make some silly mistakes that the top players in the world don't make, or at least a bunch of them, and so that's kind of the concern with him. I definitely could see him having top 10 this week.
That's John Rathouz, former PGA caddy, host of the Quiet Please podcast. John, appreciate the time.
Never disappoint.
Always.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
That's our guy.
He had the sweet pink T-shirt too.
I know, rocking that Creighton
thing
gear.
Was fire.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time I see pink and Creighton, I think of the fight song.
Oh yeah. This is my fight song. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. This is not a duet.
Oh, sorry.
Duet.
Only you can sing on the show. Okay.
Well, you can sing.
Okay.
I just don't want to do it at the same time.
All right. Well,
because the Ricos and the AJs of the world have jokes.
We're not like the Doobie Brothers. We can't have a little.
No, this ain't it.
No. What about the Bee Gees?
No. No.
Well, 3 of them are dead, so.
Okay.
That's not where I was going.
All right, Sunshine. All right.
KB, are you going to hop on the Patrick Reed train? Somebody is. He's got tremendous odds.
Not going to be me. That's DB. I'm
I
Ravi
can't do
Lulla.
it.
More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
You know, we're really proud of the journey over the past 3.5 years. You know, ultimately, I truly mean this. I know I mentioned this. The success that our other programs have had literally came up over and over again for candidates for this position. And it's one of the attractions of UNO. And I couldn't be more proud of the other head coaches we've had for these sport programs and the build they've had. But anytime you're having success with not only playing in conference championships, but much less winning them, and certainly the number of NCAA tournament appearances we've had, that's what makes jobs attractive. And we saw that during the coaching search this time.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Remember where I was last year when it came out on social media when Nebraska sold out the volleyball sold out the football stadium, and I just, you know, and I've watched Iowa grow with Caitlin Clark. I actually recruited Caitlin when I was at the University of Texas when she was in high school, and I've been familiar with the region just growing up in Denver, but women's basketball is in a great position. Being a former player, I'm proud of where the game is. And it's exciting. It's a great time to be in the game, and I think this region in particular loves women's sports: volleyball, basketball. You see it in soccer, softball. So again, it's a great fit, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, where don't forget, coming up in just a couple days, maybe come over here and watch the weekend of the PGA Championship, and you can get those 75-cent wings all day all day Saturday, all day Sunday. 75-cent wings here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. DB.
Yeah. Hey, Hunter, they do play live music.
Yeah. Well, I think he means like actually.
Oh, like people strumming it up here?
Yeah, like him playing like a little.
I don't know. Does Hunter play? Hunter, you in a band?
That was the insinuation that I got from what he was saying there.
What do you think? What instrument do you think?
That's an acoustic guitar guy if I've ever seen one.
He strikes me as kind of a drummer.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think
Little
so.
bit of a drummer.
Little drummer boy?
No.
Oh, I thought it meant like the Christmas song.
You're an idiot.
Come, they told me to Hurrdat Sports Bar. No?
Man, I don't even know. Hey, what was that conversation you and Rico and Austin were having about Cat?
It's pretty zesty sometimes.
They're talking about Ravi?
No.
So I want you to listen to something.
Okay.
I sent this to the kids yesterday. Okay?
What, your kids?
Yeah. I do this all the time.
Okay.
It's the only thing I'm good at is parenting. Outside of that, it's a total crapshoot. Shane, play this clip. I want you to know, like, what does this relate to? Or what is this applicable to when you hear it? Shane, play the clip.
What are some characteristics in your experience that very successful athletes typically share?
Immediately, my mind went to 5 characteristics. Number 1 is they learn from failure, as opposed to the fixed mindset person who, when they fail, it's I'm a failure. It's an identity, not an event. Number 2 is obstacles. The successful athlete embraces obstacles. The fixed mindset athlete, they don't want the hard thing because the probability of failure is higher and I don't want anything to do with that. Number 3 is effort level. The successful athlete gives their best regardless of how they feel. The fixed mindset athlete, they only give their best when things are going well. Number 4, they seek critical feedback. They don't just embrace it, they want it. Like, help me get better. And last but not least is the successful athletes. They learn from the success of others.
Isn't that weird? It's not weird.
I would say weird. Weird is not the word I would use.
How quickly and easily it was surmised in differentiating between the two.
Yeah.
Do you need to hear it again?
No, I think I got it.
Who does that sound like?
Well, a couple people. I would say it's very similar to like a Coach Rhule mindset. Sounds a lot like you. Those are the 2 off the top of my head that it reminded me of the most.
Which of those attributes do you think are the most difficult for the let's say you're a non-athlete? Because I think those things should be attributed to
just being in life.
Right.
Yeah.
I think those are life skills.
Well, so that's the thing is because, I mean, I enjoy sports. I play, adult sports now, but I'm not like an athlete at that level. I never was, right? So I listen to those things and I'm like, oh, man, those are good life skills, right? I'm not even really thinking about sports that much when I hear him talk about that. I'm thinking about, okay, how is this? Do I do that enough in my life? Like the critical feedback one is a really big one.
Is that the most difficult one for you?
For me personally, I don't think so. It would have been at one point.
Shane, fire that up again.
It would have been at one point.
Fire that up again.
Just 1 second.
I'm not going to give you any seconds.
Well, so it's how you come back from failure.
Here it
What are
comes.
some characteristics in your experience that very successful athletes typically share?
Immediately, my mind went to 5 characteristics. Number 1 is they learn from failure, as opposed to the fixed mindset person who, when they fail, it's I'm a failure. It's an identity, not an event. Number 2 is obstacles. The successful athlete embraces obstacles. The fixed mindset athlete, they don't want the hard thing because the probability of failure is higher and I don't want anything to do with that. Number 3 is effort level. The successful athlete gives their best regardless of how they feel. The fixed mindset athlete, they only give their best when things are going well. Number 4, they seek critical feedback. They don't just embrace it, they want it. Like, help me get better. And last but not least is the successful athletes. They learn from the success of others.
Yeah, so it's funny there.
I can tell you one of those.
Yeah.
You kind of got mad at me for once upon a time.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the analogy after I hear your feedback.
So when I'm listening to those, I think about different times in my life when each one has been a particular struggle.
Okay.
So there was definitely a time in my life where learning from failure was really difficult because exactly what he said, and I've said it in those exact same words. It was I'm a failure versus I failed. Like I failed is fine. I'm a failure.
Like the event?
Yeah, it's an event versus an identity. Like I'm a failure is, I know you told me not to say this anymore, but that's an existential crisis. Versus I failed.
It's fine.
You know what I mean?
Listen to me.
Like I failed is
Don't say that. I'm
what
going to
do-
say it 10 more times.
What do I learn now? Like,
Okay.
what do I do next?
Okay.
I failed is a step along the process. I'm a failure is an existential crisis. So there's been a time in my life where that's the thing I struggled with the most, full stop.
Oh.
There's been times in my life where effort level has been an issue, where it's like, hey, how do I feel? Am I going to give my best effort here? And it's always in different areas, right? There's some areas where I give full effort no matter what all the time. There's some areas where maybe I don't like it as much, and it becomes a little bit more of a struggle. School, for me, effort level was an issue. I didn't like doing school. I was a smart guy. I didn't like class and homework and all that came with it, right? The one right now that I probably struggle with the most is going out of my way to seek critical feedback. Like, I feel like once I get it, it'll take me a minute that I'll usually find the good in it, but I'm probably not going to go out of my way to go find it myself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think so for me, I heard that and I'm like, ooh, sometimes that's a real strength. And then there's times where I think it should be a strength and I use it.
Mm-hmm.
I manipulate it. Like there's been some times where I felt like, so I'll use me as an example first,
mm-hmm.
where it's super chaotic or stressful in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll come here and I'll either drive around, I'll listen to music, I'll whatever, right?
You take a second to lock in.
Circle the parking lot. Sometimes I'll sit here and I'm like, all right, man. All right, I got work to do. We got a show to do. Dial in,
mm-hmm.
right? You'll see me do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll often, because I know I can do that.
Mm-hmm. You'll assume everybody can do it.
I'll want other people to do it too, because that's a controllable.
For sure.
Right? So
that would be like the effort level?
Yeah. So there'll be times where it's upsetting to me where
mm-hmm.
I'll say, hey, man, I need more. I know you're not in a good mood.
Yeah.
I know you don't feel good. Lay it on the line one good time. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's probably the only, I don't know. There may be more. You're like, I don't know, DB. You're kind of a Richard head. But that's probably the only time that you'll get me to act out,
sure.
I guess. Right. There may be is the critical feedback thing one?
Yeah, so a little bit. So honestly, when you said that, to me, that's part of the critical feedback for me, because for the most part.
Oh, yeah, it could be one and the same.
Yeah, for the most part, I feel like I give, like, here's the thing, and I'm not asking anybody to cry for me or whatever, but like when you're a diabetic, you don't feel good a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like even your everyday is just like, I don't feel very good. I kind of just have to get through it.
Right.
So I pride myself a lot of the time on having good effort level now, didn't always, but having good effort level now, despite not always feeling great. And so there's sometimes when I do need the reality check of like, yeah, when the days are just like 10% worse, where I'm like, man, I'm kind of over it. Where sometimes I do need the reality check of like, hey, I know typically you give good effort level. You're not really bringing it to that standard today. And that's where the critical feedback, I'm like, I don't want to hear that right now. I need to, but I don't want to hear that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. Because was it a couple weeks ago, like I came back and I was like, God, yesterday kind of got away from me. I feel like I kind of sucked.
Yeah, I remember that.
And what I want to hear from you is not necessarily whether I did or didn't, but what would you have changed?
Yeah.
And it's just something that comes natural to me. And it's probably the biggest struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had to pinpoint like one in like relationships, it's probably the one thing that I struggle with the most is when you deal with people that don't operate in those arenas.
Yeah, because sometimes if somebody comes to you like that, or they come to you like having a bad day, or like sometimes if I'm coming in here and I'm having one of like a couple nights ago, I had my sight fell out in the middle of the night, was up for a couple hours in the middle of the night.
And you came here like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm not really feeling it right now.
Trying to and it was a rough night. Like I didn't get to sleep much. It was interrupted. My blood sugar was super high. Didn't even feel great when I got here. And there's some days, and I'm like this sometimes, and sometimes I'm not, but there's some days like you just want someone to be like, hey, man, it's going to be all right.
Right.
Rather than, hey, I need more from you.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Yeah.
Right. But some days, so I think that's the struggle with some people and that's honestly sort of the brilliance of people who are really good coaches is they know when to say, hey, man, it's going to be all right versus, hey, I need a little bit more.
So that's where, hearing that is, not only is it like, okay, what can I do better? But it's like, okay, see these attributes, that's who I need to be around this program.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I want. Those are the athletes that I want. Because I go all the way back to, people said, well, why Nebraska? And either what took so long or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I said, well, with Caleb, I think at the end of the day, freaking Eric just threw me a curveball. Jerk. I do love the Wolverine logo, though. Is that funny? Is that funny?
Yeah, a little bit.
Trying to have a serious moment here.
It's a little funny.
Yeah, thanks for nothing, Eric.
All right, so when Caleb's making his decision.
Once we figured out that Coach Rhule and his staff was kind of survival of the fittest, what'd I tell you?
You're like, oh, he's going to do all right there.
All in.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be about, walk-on versus scholarship or 5-star versus 3-star.
Well, we promised this guy this in NIL, and so we have to play him.
Right.
And, well, this guy was a 4-star, so he gets the first crack.
Once I got a feel for the competitive juice of how he likes to do things, I'm like, oh, man, I'm rocking with that guy.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, though, and it's kind of easy in their environment. It's not often good in relationships.
Yeah.
In relationships, it often comes to a head where you either want to fight for this or you are competitive or you either have a common goal or you don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's detrimental in those because somebody ended up leaving your life. Right?
Yeah.
In sports, it's easy to trim the fat.
Yeah.
So I love it
Yeah.
in that
In a
it's
competitive arena.
Yeah, it's like fire, right? It's fantastic in the fireplace and in the pit and
But it gets out of the
and
contained-
grilling. It's pretty bad out there in the forest.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of funny, though, because I think there is a common thread in both of those, though. In both, because the thing that I think contains it in both a team and in a relationship is how much, and this is based on their perception, so it's not even always true, right? But how much the person receiving it believes you're riding with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, a lot of times in relationships, they
Okay.
get skewed, right?
Okay.
Because there's history and baggage and all that kind of stuff. And so it's like you might still be riding for them and they just don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And so then they're willing to call it, right? But in a team situation, I was actually talking about this yesterday. I was talking to Kenny the other day, and he was talking about
Bell?
Yeah, Kenny Bell. And he was talking about Bo and kind of that relationship and how that was. And from the outside, like, Bo just seemed like a dick. Like, from the outside looking in, he just did. And some of the guys now removed and be like, oh, yeah, like, he could be like that for sure. But there's one thing I don't think anybody on that team that was riding for him ever questioned, and that was how much he cared about him. So you're willing to put up with a lot when you know somebody cares about you that much, right? Whereas you go to, like, Callahan. I don't know how much those guys thought they cared about him.
So that's funny. One of the JL and I, we argue about music a lot and lots of things.
Yeah.
But one thing, like, we kind of agree on there is he was a huge Callahan guy. He's probably one of 5.
Sure, like, there's not a lot.
Listen, in my whole my sphere, Leslie's one of the only guys. He may be one of 1.
Yeah, I think he was remembered too poorly, but I'm not, like, riding with him.
That will, to this day, like, if I called him, I'm like, hey, JL, we're about to have a Callahan segment. This dude will stand on this table.
Yeah.
He will pound on this table. And I told him we were coming back. I can't remember where we were. We were either, I don't know, celebrating a loss or a victory or driving back from somewhere. I said the one ingredient that I would have given Callahan that I think would have allowed him to be successful, it's not even like Teflon qualities from the media or anything like that. It was, if I was a student athlete and I said to you, hey, man, coach, Podge, I'm a little homesick, man. My girl just left me or whatever. My mom is sick. That his first response wouldn't have been something like, man, you know that there are like 8 quadrants in the red zone from pylon to pylon. Like just focus on that, man. Take your mind.
Yeah.
If he'd have just had the ability to, like,
just a little more empathy,
relate.
Yeah, just a little more empathy.
And you'd have known that he was for you. Like, he could have been.
And he very well could have been. He very well could have been for those guys. I don't know that he expressed it the way that they needed to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to sit here. I don't know Bill Callahan at all. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, that guy didn't care about players. That like obviously he's been
But
really.
but that is like most guys that played for him.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. Some will tell you that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Jay Moore may be different from a guy like AC, but like that component.
Yeah.
You think it's become more natural to coaches?
I don't think it does.
It really doesn't.
I don't think it comes that natural to people in general, right? Like I don't want to just put coaches here, but I also think there's I think that's when I talk about being a professional coach versus a college coach, that's a lot of what I mean.
Yeah, but who do you see working now in the pros?
A lot of college guys.
I mean, even Andy Reid is a lover.
Yeah. And there's a reason I think he's one of the best coaches around.
Right? Like,
you know,
Sirianni he's like a lover. Kevin O'Connell is like a lover. Campbell's like a lover.
So I guess I would go back like 10, 15, 20 years, NFL coaches. Like you get a lot of the Belichick types. You get a lot of the Bill Callahan types. You get a lot of
apparently Bill's, though, was all suppressed. He was saving it for post-NFL career, his love.
He's got a lot to go around now.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're talking about Belichick, not Callahan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I do think there's this perception of, and I think there's probably on some level.
Ty Robinson doesn't come back to Nebraska if he doesn't get the sense that Rhule cares.
Pick a guy. Ty,
Deshaun
Gifford,
Singleton.
Deshaun, Ben Hart. Like, just pick a guy, right? Like, there's a bunch of dudes that came back that didn't have to, that did it because they cared about this place and they felt cared about at this place. And I don't want to say that Bill Callahan didn't, but he obviously wasn't communicating that in a way that resonated with players.
Are any of those 5 things you think unrealistic?
Man, that's a great question.
No.
Maybe the seeking critical feedback.
Yeah. So like going out of your way to get critical feedback is, I think, very, very uncommon.
So that's probably if I was going to like get back on the black couch and I'd tell you like, that's probably like at home, that's the greatest divider.
Sure.
Because you can tell me what's not right, and I'm like, okay, solution. People have told me forever, hey, be a little stronger. Hey, a little less weight. Hey, be a little faster. Hey, get in your playbook a little more. Hey, sit back. Too much weight on your front foot. Like I'm used to people critiquing every little thing I do, and I don't want to be like that because I know it's different to receive it.
And it can weigh on people.
If people know that it's coming from a place of, hey, I'm on your team. Right? And I don't know, there's probably some coaches I didn't receive it well from. I mean, I'm sure T.O. Early.
Yeah. But like Frank, you would have taken it from.
Yeah. I go back to like, I just think so the critical feedback, though, I think is crucial because it's the number one reason why I get on your nerves, though, is because you're going to say, hey, these people aren't treating you very well. Why do you put up with it? And what do I always say? Maybe there's something I can what?
Maybe there's something you can learn from it.
Right.
Or maybe there's something in there that's true or whatever.
So it's a backhanded weakness, too.
Sure.
It's not just like,
It's not all
I'm
positive.
man, hear me roar. It's like, sometimes it's
there's
like
a balance to all
man,
of
you got
this.
to move on from that. Like,
Yeah. Because
that's
sometimes
not overly productive.
Sometimes it's just critical and it's not critical feedback.
Yeah.
Right. There's a big difference between somebody who's just critical of you versus somebody who's giving you like critical feedback.
That's why I ride with Hartzog. Like if like some of these guys, if we knew like the inner workings of like kind of how their mind works versus what is already on the plate, that they're coming to the table with, I think we would view it, we would look at it differently.
So I'm curious which ones you think, because I think seeking critical feedback is a really challenging one. I think it's super rare. I also think part of the reason it's rare is a lot of times, not that I do this a lot in my life because it's probably the one I'm currently weakest at, but even when I am seeking critical feedback, people don't always have the feedback I'm looking for. Like they're not prepared to give me that. And so sometimes that also makes it challenging when I'm in a headspace where I'm like, hey, I could use some feedback here in different areas. And they're like, oh, I don't really have a good answer for you. And then it's like, well, then why am I going to put myself out there like that if I don't have, like, if it's not going to help?
Rhule talking about Dylan publicly.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, we're going to make a bigger deal out of this than it's going to be. But I could see why we made it a big deal. We made it a big deal because we don't all have the same information.
Yeah.
But we could pretty much guarantee that he's had that conversation with Dylan how many times? A couple? Handful?
A bunch of times privately.
It wasn't going to be the first time that we heard it, right?
Right.
So I think having the feedback that you need versus seeking it out, it's obviously ideal if they go hand to hand.
Yeah.
But
They don't
sometimes the
always.
E plus R, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the outcome happens first.
Sometimes, yeah, I was like, sometimes
It doesn't go event, response, outcome.
Yeah.
Sometimes the outcome happens.
Yeah.
And then
And
it's
you
what's
kinda
your
go back and
response.
get
Yeah.
it, right. The other thing I will say that I think, especially now, and I don't want to do a kids these days thing, but I do think this is one of the biggest foibles of social media, right? Learning from the success of others, I think, is really challenging for some people because a lot of times, and you've brought this up a lot.
I'm a copycat though, so it's like I want to be around successful people.
Right.
That's why I always say you got to be willing to hire somebody smarter than you.
But you've brought this up a lot in the rooting for the success of others, even maybe at your own cost, or at your own detriment. Like, I think a lot of times with social media age and just everything's out there all the time, the success of others can be discouraging to some people, where they go, "Oh man, well, I don't have that figured out yet, and I don't have this figured out yet."
A lot of times you see it with offers. Or recruiting.
You're like, oh man, I didn't get this offer and they did, and I don't get that offer and they did. And a lot of times we think of success as sort of a zero-sum game. Like, if that guy's being successful, that means I can't be successful. Like, it'd be if we sat here and I go, okay, well, Pat McAfee started this really successful internet show, so we can't.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no, what does Pat McAfee do that we could do better? Right? Can we jazz up the graphics a little bit like we've been doing? Can we work on the camera setups like we're working on? There's things that we go hey, that's actually a really nice presentation and product there. What can we learn from that? Rather than, hey, if Pat McAfee already did this, we can't have a good internet show. Right? But I do think a lot of times people find it discouraging and find it really difficult, especially younger people find it really difficult to learn, because on social media, everything's a highlight, right? Everything's like the best of that person's life. And we sort of internalize that as that's their life.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of those 5 characteristics that he kind of just rattled off. That's a lot of what they're trying to reveal in the eye roll stuff that we call Matt drills. A lot of that comes out.
Who gets back in line fast?
Getting demoted.
Who gets up fast?
Picking teams. Where you're picked. What's being asked of you. How uncomfortable. Hey, I know you just took me down to this group. What did I do? Or, hey, we've heard the players. Just nitpicking at the smallest of things. Why is that important? What does it have to do with winning in, November? Nothing but everything.
So what do you think are, in terms of, because ideally you want all 5, right? Learn from failure, embrace obstacles, constant effort level, seek critical feedback, learn from the success of others. If I have to give you,
I'll give you what I think is last.
What's the least important?
Seeking critical feedback.
Okay.
Because I would change seeking to being willing to accept it.
Sure.
You don't necessarily have to seek it out.
Go get it yourself.
But you do see highly, highly competitive people say, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
So I would put that probably last.
Because it's more important to be able to receive it than to seek it out.
100%.
So if you're talking about things that, I'll give you 2. Non-negotiables. You have to start here. If I don't have these 2 things, we're kind of doing the psychological breakdown version of the cat testing camp conversation that we had with Adam and Dave from Matrix Analytical. If you get 2 of these,
give me them again,
and nothing else.
How'd you surmise them?
Learning from failure.
Okay.
Embracing obstacles.
Okay.
Effort level.
Okay.
Seek critical feedback. Learn from success of others.
I'm going to start with effort level.
Okay, I knew that one. What's the number 2?
The one right before that.
Embracing obstacles?
Yeah.
See, I think I'm taking learning from failure before I take embracing obstacles. Now they're similar. I do think they're similar.
Okay, which one do you think naturally happens first?
I think, in my opinion, you have to be willing to identify failure as an event, not an identity, before you will embrace obstacles. Because once you are not afraid of failing being an indictment on who you are as a person, then obstacles aren't scary anymore.
I don't mind the theory.
To me.
Which one do you think naturally happens first?
I can only speak for myself. I will not.
You think the obstacle does the obstacle have to be failure?
No, it's not. It doesn't. It has to be the fear of failure. An obstacle is a fear of failure.
It can be.
Yeah. So that's why I can say I can only speak for myself.
An obstacle could be overcoming mono.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or staph infection.
Sure.
If you're Peyton Robb, or
but for
being hit in the face with a pitch.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be failure. So when I ask the question, I think in the natural course of events, overcoming an obstacle is first. How do I get to practice every day? How do I get a ride? Or how can I be a part of what these guys are doing because they meet at this time?
Yeah.
So the only reason I put that above the failure is because I think in the natural flow of the hierarchy, the obstacle will come first. Now, the failure could be the obstacle, but that's like going from 1 to 10.
Yeah, so for me, just the way my brain processes it, I'm not going to embrace obstacles until I'm no longer afraid that failing at those obstacles is an identity crisis.
So, another reason why I slot that down is exactly either he's married to a counselor, which I think he is, or he's extremely bright, which he may be. Could be both. Yeah.
Yeah, he's married to a counselor. He said it earlier.
But he could also be pretty smart from life experiences because there's also a fear of success too.
Sure. Like, what does that bring with you?
I talk about this all the time.
No, you're right.
Especially in our community.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I've done this. Now, am I going to have to do this all the time? Are you going to really hold me accountable?
Well, that's an effort level thing too. Then at that point,
the self-sabotaging is a completely real thing.
Yeah.
And I think when a program hasn't won and you don't want to embrace what comes with the expectations.
What did I say last year?
It's easy to mire in muck.
Do you remember what I said last year before the season? That this fan base was not prepared for a 10-win season.
Yeah.
That we would not be able to handle it.
Oh, I was so mad at you.
And I'm 100% right.
Yeah, you probably were.
Like this
yeah.
Like this fan base was
Don't let me couch it by saying probably. You were right.
We needed incremental.
Yeah.
Because if don't let anybody tell you if Nebraska had popped off like Indiana and Cignetti in year 1 or year 2, that we would be even a little bit fun to deal with. And we would super not be able to handle it. Yeah. Like I believe that to my core, right? But you're right, because it's not just, I mean, obviously you know more about your community than I do, but I've seen it I coached a lot of kids from your community and other communities while I was coaching basketball, right? Where it's really easy when other people aren't being successful for them to label you as like, oh, you're a sellout.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not part of you forgot where you're from. Oh, you forgot your roots.
Yeah, so we've got a player, really good running back, Tate Jenkins. Really, really good player.
Yeah.
We had to I had to go up to school and whatever. You know what that centered around? Expectation levels. Oh man, everybody's on me now.
Yeah.
Or I've got to do this, or my transcript's this, or my grades here, or I got to be here. I'm like, Tate, that's
the pressures of privilege thing.
That comes with 1,800 yards and being 16 years old, right? Like, don't not go rush for 1,800 yards at 16 years old. So
you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to that's a process.
Yeah.
Right? And so sometimes it's easy to kind of stay in the back.
For sure.
It's like
absolutely.
Because I do think the success, it would have been really, really interesting. I said this and I know you laughed at me. I wasn't glad Dylan didn't have the great first year. But I'm glad he went through the struggles.
Yeah. He learned more.
100%.
You learn more from it, right? But I mean, this isn't even like, I don't even just want to make it a black community thing, right? Because
it's not.
No, it's
not. I just use it as
for sure. But like, I know people, and I actually noticed it because of the opposite. But there's times in your life where you're being successful and things are going well, and it's weird how many people you feel like you can tell when you're struggling, and you'd be like, hey, I'm having a hard time, and people will be like, oh man, I'm here for you, whatever. For me, at least, the circle gets a little smaller when I want to tell people about how well things are going.
Oh, it's hard.
Because there's a lot of judgment.
It's hard.
Right? Well, it's like,
that's right.
That's right. You're like, oh man, my
Not
job's,
to sound like Coach Barthel.
My job's actually going pretty well. And, Natasha got a new job that she likes a lot. We actually have a lot more free time now. And it's like, because
you're exactly right.
Like, people get sort of mad at you for not struggling. And so, yeah, success, there is a fear of success because, like, okay, well, if I go out and buy this type of car, are people going to look at me a certain way now because or if I go like, oh, man, Natasha and I want to go take the boat out this weekend, are people going to say something?
I will.
And it's like, yeah, but I know you're riding for me, so you can say some stuff, right?
Hey, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to go into character, making fun of you. It's just, you're like, hey, man, I'm trying to have a moment here.
But, like, there's...
Are you wearing the capris and Sperry's? Or
I'm not a capris guy. I like a linen pant, but it goes all the way down to the ankle.
How does
do guys actually wear capris?
Ravi does.
I don't wear capris.
And he puts his sunglasses in his pocket with the shirt unbuttoned 3 buttons.
I don't put it in the pocket. I just put it right on the button.
Yeah,
there.
That's about right.
I do like a nice pair of Sperry's, though.
Of course you do.
It's a nice boat shoe. You got to have the non-slick bottom so you don't slip.
First world problems, baby.
But yeah, there's a fear of success too.
You're a wild dude.
Wow, we're out here, right?
Sort of.
We'll be back tomorrow. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.